WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5, The Fanatic.
Good morning. Thought I'd help you wake up.
It's 6 a.m. and you're listening to The John Kincade Show, Philadelphia's longest-running sports talk morning show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Let the party begin!
The show starts now.
I don't know if it's easier to get up after a huge win like that or harder to get up after a huge win like that. But whatever it is, when your feet hit the floor today, the Phillies are one win away from the National League Divisional Series and a trip to Atlanta. Bradford White Water Heaters bringing you the 6 o'clock hour of the John Kincade Show. We are all here. We're all bumping around. Pat and I red Octobered out. Bobby, a little blue October. But there's no reason to be blue this morning because so many things went well last night. So many things were exciting last night. So many positives to build off of. So few negative moments of the game, leaving the Phillies in position to close out this wild card series quickly. And it is hard. A 3-game series, you don't want to waste the Zach Wheeler start. Zach Wheeler was exquisite last night. It's about the best word I can use. I thought he'd get through that 7th inning. That was great to see Alvarado come in and just bury those pitches down. That was awesome. The 9th inning was given to Craig Kimbrell, and I know there were a lot of people probably going, I wonder if he's going to blow it. Well, he's always going to make you sweat. He always has for 400 and some saves of his Hall of Fame career, but he got it done. And I don't know what Bell has on the Phillies, but it seems like he knows exactly what pitch is coming at any time. All in all, get ready for Game 2 and buckle up. But we're going to talk about Game 1. Look forward to tonight's game. And Pat will later talk about the anxiety of counting on Aaron Nola to bring you home. But as we start the show today, Bob, I got to tell you, I would think very, very hard. I can only think of really sort of one negative of the whole night. It was a positive night at Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah, it was. And you know, you nickel and dimed him to death. He got 8 hits off of Luzardo in 4 innings. And nothing big, nothing major. You weren't gapping it all that much. You weren't really doing anything except, you know, death by 1,000 little stabs. You know, it was just small ball kind of Philadelphia style, and not the way you normally see a Phillies team win, but that's even better. I think that's cool. I said yesterday I love dingers. I want dingers. That's what I needed to have, and you didn't get it yesterday, and it was still fine. And Wheeler was just absolutely phenomenal. And you know, there was a lot of talk about the umpires, and you and I talked about it a little bit about the home plate umpire, where was his strike zone and all. You had 2 pitchers, especially Wheeler, that were really painting the plate last night.
They really were.
And Wheeler was just spot on.
The low strike was being called for both of them all night long.
Yeah, it was.
And I thought some of them were sketchy. But I don't think the Phillies had a disadvantage at the plate.
Oh God, no!
In any way, that's ridiculous.
You know what? I've always been a guy with when I'm around baseball, swing the bat. That's all.
Yeah,
swing
go
the bat.
swing. Stop watching.
You're not looking. If you're looking for perfection from an umpire, well, then you should have perfection at the plate. Swing the bat. You know, I mean, that's just what the game is. But I don't think the umpiring had any effect on anything really. Just a good, solid baseball playoff win without all of the dramatics that we're accustomed to seeing with this team.
Pat Egan asked yesterday on the show, what did we need to see in the first 4 innings? And I thought it was a very strange – I actually thought it was a very strange question.
Thought it was a normal question.
But then 4 innings. It was just very arbitrary. You know, so I'm looking at it going –
You'll do 5 today.
Well, no, I think the 4 was great because you asked me what did I want. You asked Bob and I to give it to you. I said I wanted to see Wheeler at 50 pitches or less. That would tell me the Phillies were in great shape. 46 pitches through 4. That was a great performance. I know you've seen in person and on television a lot of great Phillies postseason pitching performances. If you throw out the no-hitter by Doc, is that about as good as it gets last night?
It's hard to complain about it. Yeah, that's exactly what you want and then some. I'd have to comb through like the lists of, you know, the Cole Hamels starts in 08 and stuff. But
because Cole had some really good ones too.
Yeah, I mean, I went in going like if he can give you 6, you know, and keep it to 2, and I didn't expect him to go 7+. And the fact that I was doing the same thing, John, I was like monitoring pitches, and the fact that at one point Luzardo had 61 and I think Wheeler had like 30, 33,
Right.
34. It was like he's dialed in and then some. And he talked about after the game that as soon as he stepped foot out there, kind of crowd got him going, and he was just like locked in. But he looked different. I mean, he looked like the Zach Wheeler of old. And if you can get that guy, good luck.
Well, I love, too, the fact that if you're pitching and you show a major league lineup that you are throwing strikes and they're falling behind when they get the bats on their shoulder. And I hope another pitcher that goes tonight that we'll talk about later was watching that. Because when you don't nibble and you throw strikes and guys start falling behind in the count, they swing. And it makes for more efficient innings. You got a great – I don't know if I should say great. You have a very good defensive team behind you. Very good. Let them do their jobs. Let them do it. And I think there were a couple last night, like where the Stott play, where it just got past him a little bit. The Bone play, the stop was incredible.
He saved a run, probably, if that goes to the corner.
Absolutely. I mean, to me, the defense on this team right now is really, really good. So let them play defense. Pitch, throw strikes, let them play defense. That was awesome. That was awesome last night. And when I saw 46 pitches through 4, I'm like, okay, he is absolutely tied in.
Yeah, and, setting a tone in the first inning for Wheeler, who, although he was very good, that first inning he gives up a shot on the first at bat, and Pache makes a really good play, gets a good jump on the ball, comes in, makes that out, and then on the third out where Stott makes a diving play, if those two go for hits, then it might be a whole different ball game. So the defense behind him allowed him to settle in, allowed him to do what he did last night, which was absolutely awesome.
I'm going to have to go back and watch the play-by-play. And read the play-by-play. I can't remember another outfield out.
I know. I was thinking of that at one point.
Other than the first batter of the game, I don't remember another one.
No. Well, there was some, yeah. But, I mean, I was sitting there in like the 4th, 5th, or 6th inning. I think a Philly flew out.
No. I'm talking about a Marlin flying out.
I know. And I said to myself, I said, God, I don't remember any Marlin flying out.
I did the same
tonight.
thing.
I don't think Castellanos had a play. I don't think that Rojas had a play. I don't think they made an out on a fly ball.
Now Castellanos picked a couple off the ball.
Yeah, but not a fly out. Nobody made a put out in the outfield. It was wild last night, and that was great. Liv was down there, so my daughter's down there, and she's texting me going, "And why'd Kimbrel drop the ball, Dad? I don't know that rule. What was he trying to do? This doesn't make any sense." And I knew.
Who was she there with?
She was there with a boyfriend last night. He honestly goes, Kimbrel's been doing it. He's been doing this. But it's aggravating. But he couldn't explain the rule to her. He wanted that automatic balk, which again I know was pissing both of you off. At that point, I said to Christina, I said, "Okay, Bob and Pat are mouthing right now.
No,
they're not happy."
It didn't last night because it was 4-1. But seriously, a guy on second base bothers you, or you don't want him to see your signs. This is baseball. It's been going on for 130, 40 years or whatever. How is it that you don't like a guy on second base? It disrupts you. Does that really give you like a good feeling of having him as your closer going through the playoffs?
I'm okay with him being our closer.
Yeah,
again,
sure.
I'm fine with it.
How about a 1-run game?
No, I'm fine
with
it.
I don't like that he does that. But whatever, that's neither here nor there today.
He's going to the freaking Hall of Fame as a closer, and he had a 2-something ERA as a closer this year when you gave him the ball. Is it scary? Every closer we have ever had has created scary. Everyone's like, Brad Lidge, perfect season, Brad Lidge. That season gave you agita many, many times with Brad Lidge. He walked the tightrope. I don't even want to mention Tug McGraw, who used to just create, anxiety for people. He's the best ninth inning option, Pat, that they got. As far as ninth inning. But I agree. In a tie game, no. I'll pass.
Tie game, I'll pass.
Extra innings, I'll pass. Extra innings, I think I'll pass, yes.
3 outs, that's the only... 3 outs, ninth inning, only time I want to see him.
Clean inning.
I'm with Bob. 1-run game. God forbid, 1-run game, and we have what happened last night. Guy starts a leadoff double. What are you going to do, balk him over? Because you're scared? Are you scared?
I don't like it.
You're using a pitch comm, dude. What are you scared of?
Yeah. Look,
I think
that's nitpicky.
What's it, grip of the ball? The guy behind you could see how you're gripping the ball unless you're keeping it really secretive.
Well,
that's about it. I don't understand anything else.
That was basically my only complaint last night.
Oh, I have one other.
Yeah, okay, I have another. But other than that, it's
and he's employed by the Phillies.
It's like, okay, I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. They got in, they got out. The bats,
yes.
And that's a great point by Bob that they did all of that small ball style. They didn't even have to rely on a home run, which by the way, the
that's
Marlins
what I wanted to see, but they still had a bunch of runners in stranded position. I think they were 3 for 14.
Yeah.
That's I like seeing all the hits because tomorrow one of those balls goes through or JT Realmuto wakes up or something happens and this thing becomes a little interesting. I don't remember a game all year, and I'm sure it happened, but I don't remember a game all year where every single starter got a hit. And that to me was a beautiful thing. The biggest game of the year, the most pressure on your shoulders of any game you played all year, and every guy in the lineup gets a hit. That's pretty awesome.
It is.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, and the last guy you needed was Harper, and he squeezes one out to left after looking not that great in earlier bats. But Lazard will do that to you. That's the kind of pitcher he is. He's a good pitcher.
He really is.
And that's another thing you take away from last night. You faced their best. I mean, you faced their best.
Yes.
And he was good last night. And you tagged him for 8 hits in 4 innings, and you were on top of things, and you started it well, although they didn't score runs in the first inning. You got second and third. You got him to throw 25, I believe it was, pitches in the first. Now it's just going to get, air quotes, easier here because you're not facing as good of pitchers.
Plus
another lefty going tonight, but not as good.
Plus, you got to see multiple relievers last night, Pat, which is always an advantage. In a series, you want to see you want to see them, you want to get an idea of what they look like, so you get a second shot at them.
Yeah, as soon as I heard, 4th inning, 5th inning, that Skip Schumacher was getting some relievers up, I was pumped about that idea.
I think he should have let him pitch the 5th, Luzardo.
I don't know. He was...
No?
His slider, it just looked like he had no command of it. At times he did, but early on it was like he was... And Skip Schumacher talked about it. He was, pulling it. I mean, it wasn't even close.
Those ones that were skipping down.
Yeah, there was so
people
I don't know,
dancing.
I don't know if he was too amped up, if he was rattled by the crowd, if it was I don't know, but I wouldn't have kept him in.
Yeah, and then here's another thing. He was going through the lineup about a third time then.
That's
the Phillies already had 8 hits off of him. So not only were they getting to see him better again, they'd already had good success off of him the first 2 times. So
Schumacher's done a nice job.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing as you. Was I surprised? At first, I was, wow, but then once I kind of sat there and thought about it, I was okay with him taking him out.
Hey, when you open up the Bet Parks app, you're in the zone. It's another chance to win big with all-day action. $10 bet. If it's a winner, you get $125 in sportsbook bonus bets available for you. Play for fun. You love to win. Bet Parks. You got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, Ohio, or Maryland. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So the one issue that I would take, and the only negative that I would really take away from it, was all year long, and I'm going to steal this from a couple different people on Twitter. One of the most aggressive third base coaches in the game gets a tight sphincter. And there was no reason to not send Kyle Schwarber. And everybody who says, well, you want to hold him because there's nobody out. That is a terrible angle. First of all, when someone is in that position, that is like one of the worst angles to be able to angle a ball and throw it to home plate. Terrible angle. He threw it up the line. Schwarber would have strolled home on that, no matter how it was. To me, the lack of aggressiveness. And then you saw Schwarber goes back to the dugout, and they're talking. And he's pissed off. He's like, come on. Like, they're talking about it. And Bryce Harper, who absolutely should have been sent, was being told to stop. There was no reason to stop Harper on that play. Any guy with any kind of speed is going and scoring on that play. I have no idea what's going on with him. Then in the biggest game of the year, all of a sudden you get a tight sphincter and you start playing conservative?
Yeah, he didn't have a great game last night. We'll put it at that. It was funny. I was going back and forth with myself in the first inning. Like, you don't want to see an out made with Harper coming up and guys at second and third. So, therefore, I was like, okay, I understand it. But then the other part of me was, and all this happened right away in my mind, was force them to make a great play right off the bat, because it would have had to have been a perfect throw. Make them make a play to start the game.
You've sent guys all year long. You've been the most aggressive third base coach in the National League. I mean, come on. Now, all of a sudden, you get conservative? It didn't make sense.
Yeah, it was. You can go pro and cons on it. With Harper coming up, the most clutch hitter that this city has seen in a long time when it comes to playoffs. Okay, I can understand the reasoning. We saw the throw. If the throw was like kind of right there, no problem, no complaints, whatever. Angle, I don't know.
That's a terrible angle to try.
I don't know about that. Like Castellanos had a worse angle if you want when he threw the guy out at home.
But he was closer.
Yeah,
he was closer. I mean, it's a shorter throw. That angle was terrible, and they pointed out on the broadcast. That's a terrible angle to try to.
If you're in play, all angles are straight angles. Like I don't know what you mean.
Well, they said it on the broadcast. That's a bad spot that's bad spot to throw from.
Yeah, I don't know, but I didn't understand when they were saying that either. Everything's a straight line from wherever you catch the ball. But so I kind of was going back and forth with that. I was doing the Phillies ball juggling a little bit with.
You were?
I understood it a little bit. Then the throw's bad. I understood everybody was going to complain.
By a mile.
Yeah, if it's a decent throw, one hop and the catcher just stands there and catches it. Nobody says a word.
Well, if it's it would have taken a perfect throw to get him out. I mean, that would be like a really good, let's put it this way, a really, really good throw. But wow, a big night at the ballpark. We want to hear from you and your thoughts. And if you were there last night and you're up this morning, God bless you. We appreciate all the energy you brought last night. So we'll hear from you at 610-632-0975. We've got lots more on last night's game and some of the decisions made and otherwise, and we want to be able to interact with you too. By the way, a girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Why don't you reach out and change their world? It'll change your own. Unbound.org. Saw a terrible fire this morning on the Schuylkill. As I was driving in, I'm hoping that the driver of the car was okay. But, Bob, as I said, I did not. I was like, I did not. I don't know how anybody walked away from it. It was the most consumed car fire I've ever seen. I've never been that close to a car. I was in the left lane. I was like, wow. And there was a truck next to me, and I'm seeing these flames jumping so high. Hope everybody's all right out there and that nobody died in that accident. It's just a terrible night. Red October is on. And we'll still have plenty of green for you throughout the course of the day, too. But, again, last night, some of the difference makers were a little just want to brag on how this team managed to come to a victory that didn't look like a lot of their wins during the regular season. We'll get to that next. John Kincade Show here on 97.5, The Fanatic. I love the American Association for Cancer Research. And as a two-time cancer survivor, I'm hoping that it will soon be 3. And today is my 9th treatment out of 12.
on your smartphone, Roku, LG Smart TV.
Hopefully you're having a great Wednesday morning. That means Adam Schefter joins us at 8 o'clock. We'll have Pat's takes, a little laughing, a little fun. And everybody's smiling this morning. Because if you can find a blemish on last night's game, you're really, really searching.
It's baseball season, boys.
Yes. That was a nice night. The biggest game of the year. I still can't get past it. That in the biggest game of the year, every single starter got a hit. That to me is incredible because this was a boom or bust lineup for a lot of the year, stretches of the year, where they survived on the 3-run homer but didn't do much else otherwise. For every single player to have the focus last night, to come through and get a hit, and a lot of them got hits off Lazaro, that's one of the most promising things coming out of the game for me, Bobby. As far as looking forward, can this team do the kind of things we want them to do? That tells me a lot.
Yeah, I was impressed. Their at-bats, their approach was good. I was thinking of this last night when the game got over. There was only really one at-bat that stuck out to me that was, and I'm not saying this because it is who it was, but the first Pache at-bat wasn't good. 3 swing. I think he looked at 1 and then 2 swings and misses, 3 pitches. He's out, strike 3. That was kind of the only at-bat that wasn't a good one last night. And you had strikeouts, and Schwarber looked, he was reaching for some outside stuff a little bit. But for the most part, they were dialed in on a tough left-handed pitcher last night. And Lazard was throwing 98, hitting corners. He's tough. And for them to come away, like you said, with everybody getting a hit throughout the night, getting 8 hits off of him in just 4 innings, it was a good offensive showing because I think it leads to bigger things. That's not the Phillies aren't going to win small ball throughout the playoffs, I don't think.
No.
So that's a good lead into it, I believe.
Hey, you may not always need a new water heater, but when you do, choose Bradford White. They're here for the pro, and they're great people, and we appreciate their sponsorship of our 6 a.m. hour. Pat, I mean, the small ball thing is one of the things I wanted yesterday, too. I didn't want them to just have to survive by the big bombs, the home runs. But much like Big Al, Bob wants dingers. I was fine last night. I love seeing base runners on base.
At home, they call me Big Al, and I hit dingers.
I also like seeing base runners on base. Yeah, and just the fact that you can put in your opponent's heads that you can kind of do it both ways is good. And the fact that you were able to get after the Marlins the way you were, I would have liked some more runs, but 4 was enough. 2 was enough. So if they can continue to just grind out at bats and do what they did last night, I mean, the homers will come. It's only a matter of time.
Do you think it was more the grinding, the pitch count, and getting Lazaro out of the game early and getting to that bullpen? Or do you think it was more the fact that they were just, them getting hits? Because I watched that pitch count obsessively.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I do the same thing. I think it started early on. Lazard just did not have it for whatever reason. He, I don't know if it was the crowd or he was too amped up, but he just didn't have it. But they continued to grind out at bats. Even when he would get 0-2 counts, they would grind it out to a 2-2 count. I mean, the only at bat that I could think of that wasn't a good at bat for the first 2 times through the order was Pache's first at bat. I mean, he went up there and I think he hacked at 3 straight balls and struck out. Stop smiling, Bob.
I just said that. That's all.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Pat, give him the show him your
Our
ring.
perfect show just ended.
Show him your ring finger, Pat. Show him your
I'm teasing you.
Pat, show him your ring finger.
No, I'm not going to do that.
He stopped you right in the middle of a rant.
But you are exactly right. It was the only. It might have been the only bad at bat of the night.
Yeah, and that's pretty rare. That I mean, 2 instances that happen that's just like you're not going to really see a lot is that you're not going to get through two times through the order and go like, man, there's really only been 1 at bat. And then the second one was what you guys talked about last segment. Man, there's only been 1 fly ball, and it was the first one of the game. I mean, they went in there and executed a perfect game plan. And even when they would create an out, I wasn't really mad about it because they would up the pitch count by 5 or 6 pitches. Bob, I apologize.
No, that's fine. Didn't you, Pat, I wanted to ask you this. Lazard, didn't you think he was this close to being really good? Like, he would throw good pitches and then all of a sudden one way outside.
Yes.
And I thought he was, like, trying to set them up a little bit. Like, he doesn't want to show all strikes. I understand that. But it wasn't that. He was just kind of, like, a little bit off. And the Phillies took advantage when he was right down the pipe.
I want to say it was Harper in the first inning. He threw him, like, 7 straight sliders. You know, like I felt like he was actively trying to strike guys out with an out pitch. The problem is the out pitch was biting so hard that it was obvious what it was.
It was an empty base. So I think he was playing very, very careful with that.
It was just his approach. You're right, Bobby. It was like very close to being a good performance. Luckily, though, it wasn't. But those little moments where it's you don't get a ball here, you don't get a ball there, how it rattles a pitcher is huge.
Yeah.
And a young pitcher in his first playoff game, growing up in Miami, playing for the hometown team, the ability to shut the crowd down. The fact that he wasn't really able to do that, it might have rattled him a little bit because you guys talked about the umpiring. And
I don't think the umpiring, people complain about the umpiring. Both pitchers got, I think, squeezed at times.
I thought it was
fair.
Fair both ways, yeah.
Hey, Vernon in Philadelphia joins us on The Fanatic. Vernon, what'd you think of last night?
I loved it, and I do have one slight blemish, but all in all, it was good. I liked it. I like the defense. You know what I mean when they alternate either Marshall or Apache out there.
Okay.
Rojas for me is here to stay at center field. Lock him in. Okay. Now here's the thing. The one slight blemish I had, well, like you said, pitching the up was fair across the board. The one slight blemish that I do say that almost got him in trouble, but they got out was the play that Harper tried to get the ball and he didn't get it, and Wheeler kind of hesitated.
Wheeler didn't cover the base. Bob and I were just talking about that.
Yeah, but I guess he thought that Harper was going to sit back because even they was talking about, they said Harper should have kind of sat back and not kind of, been up close, and it would have been an easier play. So I think that was the only little slight blemish.
Yeah, I think that was, and then Vernon, I like how you say it, a slight blemish. Yeah. But I thought it was Wheeler. Wheeler should have broken immediately.
He should have. They've been in that situation so many times. Wheeler's seen that ball hit 1,000 times in his career. Probably 995 of those times, the first baseman, because maybe experience, whatever, knows that he can't get it and is breaking back to the bag. That's probably what he was expecting. And then when he looked up and saw that Harper had gone for the ball, he was already a half second late and it was already over.
Let's hear what Rob Thompson had to say afterwards about the outing that Zach Wheeler dialed up for him.
Wheels was fantastic all night. I mean, this guy's been consistent all year. He's been really good. But I thought tonight his stuff was as good or better than any other start all year. Did it all last year in the postseason, too. So him and Nola have they've been in some pretty big games in the last couple of postseasons. So, he's a guy that you can lean on to give you some length and give you a quality outing.
I think he's trying to speak that into existence by inserting Nola into his praise of Wheeler. I got to tell you, though, that was the best performance that I've seen of Wheeler all year. I've never seen him with that kind of command all through, especially 5 innings in. He looked fresh. And that fastball, I love the fastball that goes up the ladder. I absolutely love that. And watching guys just get baited in on the low strikes, and then all of a sudden he goes up the ladder on them, and they just swing through it.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
We talked about the crowd and what does it have to do for you and all that stuff. Well, he hit the highest on the gun yesterday, season long, like 98.6 or something like that. So he was pumped. He was ready to go. He's had some great outings this year. He's had Wheeler-type outings this year. I'm not even more than few and far between, but we've seen good outings. Yeah. He just steps up in the playoffs, and that's a huge asset for an athlete to have, that when the spotlight is on you, your team, your manager, yourself, you can count on you're going to give your best performance.
Got to shine the brightest, Pat, and you feel so good about him. I thought it was strange that he put Nola into that soundbite. Like, I think he's sort of pumping his guy up, maybe.
Absolutely.
To say, we have confidence in you. Now, I mean, you're going to have more on Nola later, but I mean, in honesty, Wheeler just shows why he has been one of the most tremendous signings this organization's ever had. You've pointed that out a million times.
Yeah, he might be the best free agent signing they've had in terms of value and what they've gotten. This guy is getting $20 million.
Huge value.
Yeah, if right now, if he hit the open market, he'd probably be a $40 million pitcher. So, but that's exactly what you want from your ace going out there is a performance like that, a stopping performance, and especially in a best of 3 series. Because if you can get a similar outing from Nola, it's like, what are the Marlins going to do? But what you saw last night is why he's been through this Phillies career one of the best pitchers in the game. Because of performances just like that. And when the lights are bright, for him to come up clutch like that, it's huge.
Now, next year, he goes into his Nola year this year. You have Nola this year pitching on the last year of his contract. Next year is Wheeler's last year of his contract. He's making $23.5 next year. What a stinking, that is an amazing value. And for $23.5, I wonder if this offseason will be extension time. Or if he's going to be a guy that wants to test free agency. I'm not sure. He's 33 already.
Yeah.
Next year he's pitching at 34. I think if the Phillies came to him with 2 or 3 years, he'd probably bite. But, Pat, the open market, I bet he could probably make it.
It's tantalizing, the open market, especially knowing what you would make. I'm sure he does want to stay in Philly, I'd assume.
Sure.
He seems to like it here.
I hope so, yeah.
He seems to really enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't. But when you look at your paycheck and you're getting 20 and you're seeing some of these guys get 30 and 40, an extra $10 million, that doesn't hurt, right? So I'm sure he'd be open to an extension, but he's going to want probably fair market value. Not everybody's Bryce Harper is okay with, okay, I'm fine with getting $25 million. That's enough. It's like, and Bob talks about it all the time. They want more.
Yeah, Nick Castellanos talked about it. Last night there were a bunch of people losing their minds saying that Nick Castellanos had given his bench the finger. Well, if you look at the picture, it was his ring finger. Let's hear about it.
All right, so when you were on second base tonight, a lot of people around America thought you flipped the bird. But was it the ring finger?
Of course it was the ring finger, man. Why would I give the middle finger to my teammates? I love them.
I know. Well, I just want to clear it up for the internet. And the ring finger, you're looking for that ring?
That's why we're here in October.
I love that from Nick Castellanos and John Clark with a great interview on the field there, getting that info. Bobby, I like his defiance. Why the hell would I be flipping off my own teammates? I love that. He's got that edge to him, and it works for him.
He's a firecracker of an interview. You don't know what you're going to get. You're always going to get something good, but you never know what you're going to get. He's he's on edge a little bit. He'll question your questions. If you don't have the patience, it's kind of a tough interview. But, I thought that was cool. Why would I give my teammates the finger? I love that.
People were going nuts like Pat, like he gave them the finger. My wife goes, did he just give them the finger? I said, no, he couldn't have. I said, there's no way he did that.
I thought he absolutely
I thought he did too.
No,
yeah.
I thought he had too, but I said, there's no way he could have. I thought, I got to see the picture.
Oh, I thought he did for sure. This is a team that once celebrated a Trey Turner home run by everybody in unison yelling, F you, Trey. Like, that's just the kind of team that they are. I think it'd be a loving thing of like, F you guys. Now you do something, but
F you, Pat.
Yeah,
lovingly.
Yeah, that's how we communicate here at the John Kincade Show. But I think if he would have done that, I loved it, and the ring finger thing, I loved it even more. So he couldn't really piss me off in that moment. It's crazy what happens when people hit doubles.
More on the big night for the Phillies coming up. We've been all over it this morning, and it has been it's fun. It's fun waking up after the win, and now I think tonight is mission critical though to close this out in 2 for a variety of reasons. I think having Thursday and Friday off makes the travel to Atlanta easier, makes the bullpen rest easier. And last night, you only required your bullpen to get you, 7 outs. So you only needed 7 outs last night. Jose Alvarado, fantastic. Hoffman coming in at a big spot, fantastic. Kimbrel, you get that nervous energy after Bell hits a double, but Bell hits every Phillies pitcher. So I'm not going to knock Kimbrel for giving up a hit to Bell because every single pitcher on the Phillies, see, he knows exactly what they're throwing. I don't know what it is. or what it is with this team, because he doesn't hit that well against almost anyone else. But he loves hitting against the Phillies. He loves hitting in that park.
And the good thing that you got going on also is, all right, Wheeler's going tonight. Pat laid it out perfectly that come the third inning or so on, he might have somebody stretching quietly, maybe go, behind the scenes and start stretching so Nola doesn't see it. But you're right, John, without stretching the bullpen last night, if Nola gets into some, say, fourth, fifth inning trouble, you still have Kerkering, Soto, Strom, Sir Anthony. You still have guys that didn't even pitch last night.
And you only needed 7 outs.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is great. So nobody was – Hoffman wasn't
only
stressed
pitched
last
one.
night.
No, exactly. So he's probably
He'd give you
available
an inning
tonight too. Yes.
Right.
So you have plenty behind Nola tonight should you need it, and if a win, 2 days off to recover.
Now, Pat, if they're trailing tonight and you got to go to the bullpen, I can't wait to see Rob Thompson's strategy, because do you go all in to try to win game 2 and come back and win that one, or do you worry about taxing your bullpen for a game 3 where you don't get a day off?
No,
and you don't know who your start. He hasn't announced his starter, by the way.
Because he's not planning on having a starter for game 3.
Oh, you think that's what it is?
Yeah, tonight's balls to wall.
Yeah,
you don't mess around.
You can't mess around and find out with this one. Not in a best of 3. You can't get cute with it. You gotta win tonight.
So you're saying you roll all the dice tonight in the bullpen?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Everything's about winning. Even if you're down 4-1 in the 6th inning.
Okay.
I'm just saying do you then start mixing and matching your bullpen arms, or do you say I don't want to burn a ton of guys?
I personally don't care, because I've seen this team come back with 3 runs. So I'm still mixing and matching and making sure matchups are good. But if you're down 4-1, you can't just, all right, hey, we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
We'll see you tomorrow.
What about that Miami stat last night? I had no idea of that going into the series. The best team coming back down after the 6th inning.
Oh, yeah, I did hear him say that. There was too many stats last night for me. When did OPS become such a popular thing that they had to highlight that compared to the league average? I thought that was strange.
There was a lot of stuff on the screen too. The screen's very busy, and I don't need to see the Milwaukee Arizona score the whole time up in the left-hand corner either. Like on the game, it's nitpicky, but on the broadcast, that's a busy screen. I just want to watch that game.
Yeah,
that's
me
the
too.
game I want to watch.
And they messed up. Like they were going to highlights that the announcers weren't explaining, and things were getting a little junked up there. But yeah, I don't. And then look, this could be just me, and yeah, go ahead, make fun of the age, whatever. I don't need all those stats in the middle of the game. Like, to me, in the middle of the game, I like that Miami stat that they threw out there, that they're the best at coming back after 6. That's great information. Super, like that. But I don't need all of the other stuff. It's still a, pitch ball, hit ball, catch ball to me. Just let the game play out.
Nick Sirianni took the blame for something yesterday, and Pat Egan says, I don't know if I believe him. We'll get to it next. You get to hear for yourself. John Kincade Show. John Kincade Show, Red October off to a rousing start with the Phillies' 4-1 victory last night. But Birds fans, you can join the Fanatics Birds pregame show live this Sunday from 1 to 4 at Vinyl. You'll see Bob, you'll see Pat, you'll see Chunas at 215 South 15th Street in Philly. Vinyl has an amazing Sunday brunch, food and drink specials, and a 140-inch TV for the game. It's going to be a great, great day. You guys looking forward to that?
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah. South Street on a Sunday before an Eagles game. Not sure you can beat that.
You're going to have a lot of fun.
It's going to be a great time. Yeah, come on down, get some brunch. Check it out. You can hang out, watch the game, or if you got other places to go, get a great brunch before you get there.
And hopefully we'll be celebrating a Game 1 NLDS victory, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
No.
After that. So Alonzo Jones sends an email in. He says, morning, John. Do they do reseeding in Major League Baseball? Where is Arizona? If they win, wouldn't we go to L.A.? No. For some reason, Major League Baseball followed the stupid policies of the NBA where you don't reward the best team by letting them face the worst opponent in every round. It makes no sense. You play 162 games, and you don't give the advantage that the team with the best record always gets to face the least opponent. It makes no sense. Hockey did this years ago with that stupid pod crap, Pat, within the division when they were doing – I can't even understand the hockey standings. I did, like, who plays who, where it goes.
I'll worry about it in April.
Football does it the best, again, and that's why the NFL's king. You always get the advantage of playing the worst team. When you're the best team and you advance, you're always going to face the worst opponent that's available. Phillies are going to Atlanta if they win.
Yeah, I don't understand the non-reseeding. I know games are right on top of each other, but this is major sports. I mean, you can block out hotels in two different cities and cancel one if you have to.
And have one team go and use those hotel rooms.
Yeah, it is weird.
A couple great notes, though, out of last night's game. One of them being, again, the Phillies' 23-11 record. Their .676 winning percentage is the best in Major League Baseball. 30 games played in a stadium. That is the best ever in the history of Major League Baseball. .676, that winning percentage. I love the 76 being on the end of it. And they'll go into action tonight trying to even raise that a little bit more. But they're the best team in baseball history. Postseason games, 30 or more games, winning percentage. That's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah,
and a lot of that's the fans, right?
Yeah, there seems to be a little bit of an advantage there, doesn't there? It's cool to hear it in the announcer's voice again last night, National, just saying how crazy it is, saying that by far in baseball, this is the best home field advantage. We know what we are. We can't talk to what it's like to play in Seattle or, other places. But for the national guys to say by far Philadelphia has the biggest home field advantage, that's pretty cool.
That is awesome. Absolutely awesome. And, Pat, too, another great item. Rob Thompson, to his credit, he is now 4 consecutive series in the postseason. He has now managed to it's 5, now. 5 consecutive series, win game 1.
That's huge, right? Like that kind of puts your team at ease, your fan base at ease, your mind at ease. Like everything just feels better when you take game 1 and you can kind of come in, especially with this series being a best of 3. But really any series, when you go in, you win the first game and you just kind of put your stamp on it. But Phillies are the home team. Like they were supposed to win last night.
Yes, they were.
And they won. I was watching the Bedlam at the Bank documentary yesterday before the game to kind of get my mind right. And Kyle Schwarber talked about how important it was to take one of the road games.
Every series last year, they took a road game to start.
Huge,
game
right?
1.
Like, so take care of business tonight and then get your mind ready to take one on the road in Atlanta, hopefully.
Well, Pat, you've said that yesterday that there was something that Nick Sirianni said that maybe you take issue with. As far as that, maybe you're thinking there could be some fibbing going on.
Yes, I do.
Could be some fibbing.
Yesterday, Sirianni was discussing the 3rd and 11 run call.
Yes.
Okay. And he said it was his idea. He is to blame. And then he went on giving some reasons why and stuff. I call total BS on this.
So do I.
I think this is a head coach protecting his first-year coordinator and I have one reason backing it. Which, by the way, I mean it's really good if he is just backing his coordinator, because the idea of Nick Sirianni calling that play after being on the job for a while and giving up play calling, if he decides to take play calling back and that's the play he designed, not a good sign. But the one thing I keep going back to of like, this is a bold-faced lie, is what did we see from Nick Sirianni when he was calling plays? When we know he was calling plays.
Yes.
What did we see from him?
We didn't see that.
No, we didn't see them run the ball
we didn't.
much, right?
He didn't run the ball hardly at all. He overpassed.
Yeah,
he said he overpassed.
We were selling T-shirts at the station that said "Run the ball" because it was that much of an issue, and I'm to believe that all of a sudden he has just changed his ways and he took play calling back for one play,
3rd and 11,
and he decided 3rd and 11. Even though I'm a wide receiver at heart, and even though I want this passing game, and even though I have Jalen Hurts who's throwing it around quite a bit. 3rd and 11. What am I going to dial up? What is Nick Sirianni going to dial up? A run play on 3rd and 11. I didn't buy this for 1 second.
Or
go
what?
ahead. Or devil's advocate. Go
he
ahead,
gets
please.
done 7 games, right? His first year calling plays, and he sucked at it, and they were, not scoring and losing 2-5. And he watches for over a year and a half, and he learns something, and he says, wow, look what these guys are doing. All right, let me give it a try again. Let's run this time. And then he runs one play, and he says, wow, I still suck at this.
No, I think the bigger story of this whole thing, though, is one of the biggest calls of the game, a red zone call, 3rd and 11, and Nick Sirianni is overriding his offensive coordinator who's calling the plays. I think that's the bigger story. If it's true, Pat, the fact that the head coach already feels the need to override his rookie play caller.
That's a good point.
On a 3rd and 11, that was the red flag to me. He doesn't trust. If I'm believing Nick Sirianni, what he said is, I don't trust Brian Johnson in a big spot to make the right call. That's what it says to me. He takes away one of the biggest calls of the game from his offensive coordinator. That's a bigger thing, and I thought there'd be a little more follow up on that question.
Yeah, I'm going to stay. Yeah, the follow-up should have been, well, why? Why are you calling the play there?
Yeah, when did you? And how many other plays did you call?
Yeah,
and why? And why did you call?
I'm gonna lean with Pat on this to say there's some BS going on there.
And you look at that as a positive, that he did that.
I don't know
or
why
not?
you have to do it. Yeah, we had a bad play call there. It didn't work. It worked in weeks past. We'll take a look at it.
I look at it as a positive. You got a head coach defending your offensive coordinator. But more so, you've got a head coach that, at least he wasn't the one that called the play. Now, maybe he did, and maybe I'm reading into it too much. But I really, really hope to God it's the fact that he's just protecting Brian Johnson.
That's what I'm hoping.
The idea that Nick Sirianni, and you're right, Bob, the idea that he just sat back and watched them run the ball successfully, and all of a sudden he's become this smash, pound the ball coach with his play calling. I find it hard to believe, but. Yeah, I don't like it. If your head coach is an offensive mind, he's dialing that up. That's a bigger issue to me than the play call itself.
Yeah, it's to me, it's taking the play call away from your offensive coordinator. That means
I didn't think about that, but that's a really good point.
That means one of the biggest calls of the game. He said, "I don't trust Brian Johnson."
I'd find that hard to believe. I mean, play calling.
Right?
Yeah, play calling is probably like playing. You get yourself into a rhythm. You're going. You're building it up, and you get the rhythm. Everything that you want to do, you're building it up. You have a thing in your mind of what I've done in the past, what I'm going to do in the future, and then to have somebody just, nope, stop, hold on, I got this play. That's probably more detriment than it's ever going to be good.
7 o'clock hour, the John Kincade Show is presented to you by the new BetParks app. It is awesome. It is sleek. It's easy to use. You got all the casino games. You got all the sports betting. You'll love it. Get the BetParks app today. Pennsylvania, Jersey, Ohio, and Maryland. They're absolutely trying to dominate the Big Ten. So, I mean, they're just taking over this part of the country. Great job from BetParks, and we appreciate them being part of our 7 o'clock hour. Bob wants to tip his cap. Now, you got a cap on, Bob. You got the powder blue on today. But you want to tip your cap to somebody after you questioned them. I don't know where we're going.
Now, let's see what's in Cooney's Corner.
I'll take my headphones off for a second.
And you're going to do it. For the YouTube audience, look at this treat you're getting. That is a nice tip of the cap.
You know who that goes to?
I think I know.
I think I know, too.
You guys think you know.
I think it goes to Rob Thompson.
I think it goes to Christian Pache.
It goes to Rob Thompson because of Christian Pache.
Wow, Pat, we're both right.
Yeah, you're both right.
We were
there.
both right.
You know, it was funny yesterday being on with Andrew and in the midday show and getting closer and closer to the game. As you guys know, I'm big on how you feel about something coming on. Well, I started to feel more that Christian Pache was going to be that starter yesterday as we talked it out, as we went along. First inning, boom, makes a really good catch, right? Gets a great break on a ball. First batter of the game, sets a tone there. Comes up with a big hit. Up the middle with the infield pulled in. I got to tip my hat to him for that, for having enough. I mean, Christian Pache's been here for a minute. And to put him in a first playoff game, that's ballsy.
Now, the numbers did show yesterday that it was the right call.
Yeah, he was 2 for 4 against Luzardo.
What'd he do? And very good against lefties.
Yeah, so
in his Phillies career.
Yeah, so good on Rob Thompson for that. Good on Rob Thompson the way he used Alvarado. You come in and get one out and then bring him in the next inning. A little surprising, but good on him for doing it.
What did you say when he made that decision, watching it on TV? Were you okay with it? When he came out for the 8th inning?
Yeah, I was.
I was okay, too.
Yeah, I was okay with it. Then when he went to Hoffman, however, I was kind of like, oh, really? But made the right call again. So very, very good game by Rob Thompson yesterday. He hits Bohm third and goes Harper fourth, which, I got a couple of texts from friends like, really? What's going on here? How's hard? He wanted to get 2 right-handed bats up in the first inning, right there. So, yeah, tip of the cap. Good job, Rob Thompson. He had a good hand in winning game 1 last night.
He pushed every button right, Pat, last night, right? I mean, is there anything you would –
managerial goal, game 1.
It was, Bob. I thought about that. Managerial goal, maybe. Now, look, it's still, you're still mining it. You can't say it's managerial gold yet. We need to see more.
For game 1, it was managerial gold.
Was.
Yes.
It absolutely was.
Just for game 1, yes.
I can't think of one thing that he did that didn't really work out. I mean, I would tell you, I was surprised that he brought in Hoffman to pitch the 8th there.
I thought it might have been Kirkering, to tell you the truth.
And
that's what I thought, too.
And Hoffman, who's been getting it done all season long, ends up getting it done once again. And this is a guy that you claimed off the waiver wire and was really just brought in to pitch balls to Bryce Harper as he was rehabbing. And he ends up becoming a big piece of your bullpen where Rob Thompson is relying on him in the 8th. If they end up going far, that moment right there of putting Hoffman into that spot
may pay off, right?
May pay off. I mean, Hoffman's got to be peacocking around the clubhouse right now. I'm the 8th inning guy, at least for one night, but I'm the 8th inning guy. My skipper's got faith in me to get it done in that spot. Managerial gold is the way to put it for sure.
It was a great night. I mean, that is a flawless managerial performance yesterday. From the lineup creation to every single starter getting a hit. And again, I'm sure somebody in our listening audience knows, I don't remember a game this year where every single starter got a hit. Off the top of my head. I mean, that was incredible.
I do remember some games. But, yeah, it was. It was the fact that they said that. I didn't realize the Phillies had rung up like 9, 10 hits when they said that Harper's the only one that hadn't had a hit yet. That was great. 8 hits off of Luzardo in 4 innings. That's special. And he wasn't bad last night. I don't think he was bad last night. I thought the Phillies were pretty good hitting the ball.
I learned something about that as we wrap that one up. I learned about the team last night, watching the railing. Christian Pache gets the start. Almost all year, Brandon Marsh has been a starter. Did you see Brandon Marsh?
I did not.
Brandon Marsh hanging right up there on the railing, cheering everybody, being a part of it. A lot of guys would be maybe a little sagging, feeling like, I've been a starter all year, Pat. I've been a guy that they've counted on all year, and now Pache's getting the start in a big game. He was up there on the railing, cheering his teammates on, everything wild. It tells me a lot about the young man and his character, because a lot of guys would have sagged and been like, are you kidding me? Playoff games here, and now I'm sitting on the bench? He was totally engaged, and when he came in that game, did you hear that ovation from the fans?
Yeah.
They love him.
I mean, look, it's 2 things that make it easier. One, he's got a manager that probably communicated to him.
Right.
And the broadcast talked about this. Hey, when they bring in a righty, you're going to be in the game. So he probably knew that he was going to play. But 2, down the stretch, he was in and out of lineups. It wasn't like a foregone conclusion that he was showing up to CBP and his name was penned in there. But I think what you talked about there is accurate. You've got guys that are engaged, and it just shows that they want to win. They don't care who's doing it. And I thought it was awesome when Pache ended up getting the base hit. Like his reaction, their reaction, it's just like it's infectious. It goes through this clubhouse. Like these guys really do play for each other. And it's like they want to perform not solely for the fans, but really for the people in the clubhouse. I don't care who's doing it, but they want to perform for their teammates. And because immediately all of them, anytime they do anything, all of them are looking in the dugout and doing something.
And that plays, Bob, to your point that you just made. That's partly the manager. If you go and read about the firing of Gabe Kapler in San Francisco, they talk about it in the clubhouse. There was no connection between teammates. There was no team building with Gabe Kapler, and everybody felt overmanaged. Like a lot of players saying, it just felt tight. We played tight. They don't play tight with Rob Thompson.
No,
in fact, they play very loose.
And to build on your point, and it was something I was going to bring up later, but to build on your point about the way Marsh was cheering on Pache, later, when Marsh was in the game, they showed Pache on the bench with the biggest smile on his face and cheering on his teammates. That's great stuff. It really is. And it's bigger than everybody loves to win. It's easy to be happy when you win. But this team has just something a little bit more. And they talk about it. I thought it was cool, Castellanos on the field. And why would I give my teammates the finger? Are you kidding me? I love those guys.
And John had to ask that question because everybody on social media was thinking he gave the finger to somebody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So there really is a connection with this team that seems to be quite different and in a great way. So whether it rides you out further than your talent should take you, I don't know, because the talent on this team should take them pretty far anyway. But it's a pretty cool thing they got going on.
All right, so Bob, I want to get to this because I don't want to just ignore the story. We are your Sixers station. James Harden reporting to 76ers training camp in Colorado. So he doesn't come to media day. He comes right from the strip club in Houston and heads to Colorado. You've had a read on this? You have a perfect score so far about how this is going to read. You thought he'd come in, but you don't think he'll play for this team. How does this play out, though? Him showing up for training camp, and then Pat, you and I can make our guesses as to how this is going to look. You've been perfect on this so far.
Well, the weirdness of it is this, that he's letting it be known he's going to make things uncomfortable. You know, he was the one that went to Woj or his people at Christmas time and said, hey, put this out there because I'm getting nervous about this bargaining with the Sixers. They did. All of the other things that have come out have been proven pretty right. For reporters, Ramona Shelbourne, Woj, to come out and say, yeah, he's going to report maybe as soon as today, and he's going to make things uncomfortable. What the hell does that mean? And what is going on here? Like, is there going to be a meeting of the minds? I don't know. As the GM, you have to bite your tongue. You have to sit in front of a microphone and say, hey, we'd love to have him back, and hopefully we can work this all out. Because they are a better team with James Harden on it. There's no question about it. But I don't know, man. I don't know how you can just diss. When you diss Daryl Morey, okay, that's a person. But he's also the president of basketball ops for your organization. I just don't know how good that flows. Well, I just don't.
I got to tell you, the fact that he's going to come in here and try to purposely disrupt the 76ers' chance to win.
But how do
I don't know why.
that?
Well, I don't know, but I don't know why Joel Embiid would be in his corner for that.
Oh no!
I don't know why Tyrese Maxey would be in his.
No.
Yeah, but they seem positive on James when they're behind a microphone. So if he's coming in here to disrupt your chances to win a championship, don't make this a clown show. Speak up. Find your damn voice. Find your voice and say, we don't want James Harden coming in here and disrupting our chances to win. We're behind the 8 ball trying to win a championship. We got to do something. Stop kissing his ass as a teammate and say something. Stand up and say, I don't want my team disrupted. Joel Embiid, you're the leader. You got pressure on you. Say, I don't want this team's chances disrupted.
Yeah, there's going to be meetings when Harden gets there.
But are they going to say it? Are they going to articulate it?
Well, they're going to meet with him. They're going to talk to him and say, like, where are you? Where are you at? Like, we're hearing that there's going to be disruption. What are you talking about? And, if he says, well, screw Morey, he promised me one thing and another. Yeah, I would assume those guys have balls enough to say, well, then why are you here? Like, don't disrupt my team.
So they will. You believe that they will stand up
I
to
can't
him?
imagine being,
Well, they're talking
I'm
like
5'10", 185 pounds. If he came in on my team and said stuff like that, I'd be like, well, then get the hell out of here.
Listening to Joel Embiid, though, it's like he's very much in like a James supporter. I'm like, this is crap. You're trying to win a title.
Well, he's got to talk to him first. He's got to find out what's what
they
first.
Talked?
I don't know. It's a weird. You don't. Here's the rule with athletes: you don't mess with other guys' business. All right,
or other guys' money, right? Don't comment on other guys' money.
That's the given. But you don't. And if this is a money thing, if Harden has told all his teammates, look, him and Ruben told me they were going to pay me, and then Ruben leaves, and then Morey all of a sudden says no, and whether Harris went to Morey and said maybe he was going to pay that money, but I'm not, and now they took that away from me, man. They pulled the carpet out from under me. Maybe business-wise, as other athletes, they're like, man, you got messed up on that. That's not right. Maybe that's where they are. Maybe they agree with them on that. If that business comes first with athletes, it does. As much as we as fans want to say, oh, man, just go and play and be, that good guy. Nah, business comes first, and they understand that. Whether they come to some kind of an agreement there, I don't know. But this is weird that, I'm coming to camp, and this isn't a direct quote. He didn't say it. It's reported that he's going to come to camp and be disruptive. I, honest to God, don't know what that means.
Hey, Spanky in Cobbs Creek, I know, has strong opinions on the Sixers. Spank, what do you have to say about this?
I've been trying to bite my tongue about this, but I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm really feeling some type of way towards Embiid because I get it. These cats has got like a brotherhood, but if this was Jimmy Butler, you know darn well he would not be kissing this dude's behind, man.
No, he wouldn't. He'd be speaking up.
Yeah, man, this is crazy, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, Bob. I don't even want to watch this team until the Eagles is done, man. Because I'm kind of over them right now. Like, this is the same stuff we went through with Ben Simmons. The only difference is that he had an ailment, I guess. But I'm sick of this right now, man. It's a laughing stock how this boy think he just go come in here and be disruptive because he want to bounce because he was promised something that he didn't get. This don't make no sense.
And we don't know that he was promised anything.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like it's laughable that this guy he is really putting it out there that he's going to be disruptive. I don't understand this, man.
Spank, real quick, Spank, what does it even mean? How does he come into camp and be disruptive? Like what?
That doesn't make no sense for it even to be out there like that. And I'm just totally disgusted with the Sixers organization right now. I wish them well, but I'm not watching them until the Eagles is done. I'm just.
But Spank, Joel needs to say something.
Yeah, he has to. And listen,
he's the leader supposedly.
I get it because they have a brotherhood in the NBA. I get that, but at some point you got to say, man, listen, man, we can't do this, man.
If you're coming in here to be disruptive, thanks, Spank, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome because we're a brotherhood. We're trying to win, and you're going to try to disrupt our chances? We're an organization that has underachieved for 4 decades, and we're not going to stand for it. We're not going to stand for you pulling your next sideshow that you've done in 2 other cities. But none of them seem to have the balls to speak up when it comes to James Harden. And if Joel Embiid won't do it, then nobody else will do it. Nobody down the food chain will do it.
Yeah, I'm going to wait on it. I'm going to, wait until he gets there. What is this disruptiveness? See if they have, talks. See if Embiid comes out and says something. I'll wait on it till he gets there. I'll wait on it until see the situation. It's a smart move by Embiid not to say anything right now. You just don't know everything.
He was sort of
yet.
praiseworthy of James a little bit.
So, well, they all like him as a player. They all like him as a person. They say he's like a brother. And, we don't know the ins and outs of what they're doing on the road, practices, everything, and how close they get.
But you could think...
We praise James Harden for taking Tyrese Maxey under his wing.
But I could think of you, Bob, and Pat, or anybody around here like a brother. But if you come in and say, I'm going to disrupt the show.
But he hasn't come in and said that yet. That's why I'm waiting on it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how his behavior is. It's good stuff. Rob Thompson defends Dusty Wathan. I want to know what you thought about Dusty Wathan last night. Not on 1, but on 2 plays. If you want to share your thoughts, you can at 610-632-0975. You'll hear Rob Thompson's defense of it. And then I want to know, is it sort of like what Pat said about Sirianni earlier? Maybe he was just defending his guy. John Kincade Show. Red October's off to a rousing start here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Hey, the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app, talk about a rousing start. If you win your first
Philadelphia.
Don't make me take up a little struggle with PJ Wellahans because they're the best. There are 3 ways to enjoy PJ's famous wings while watching the Phillies. You can go to your local PJ's, you can go to PJ's Wings to go, or at Citizens Bank Park in Ashburn Alley. But they say PJ's Wings, regular or boneless. And you know my issue with the boneless wing. They have those beautiful chicken nuggets, adult chicken nuggets at PJ's, and they're awesome, by the way. They're a nice little, I think they're a nice little appetizer to share with the table.
Okay.
The boneless.
But you still have a problem with them.
Yeah, because I want wing. It's not a wing. I still take issue with it. It's not a wing.
It's chicken.
It's just chicken. Yes, and it's delicious chicken. And it's awesome.
Andrew and I had some.
What'd you have yesterday?
Nachos yesterday that we shared.
I love their nachos.
Oh, my gosh.
Love them.
Do you put the hot honey on them or what?
I just do barbecue.
You do barbecue?
But I do like hot honey wings. But, yeah, I'm a big – anytime I go there, I get the nachos.
I think the nachos are fantastic. And you get your Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, nachos and sprouts for the table.
We didn't get sprouts yesterday.
Well, because I wasn't there.
I know. I would feel like I wouldn't feel right eating them without you, Pat.
Nor should you.
I know. I agree.
Hey, Rob Thompson may have pulled a page. And if you heard Pat Egan earlier, he questioned whether – maybe Nick Sirianni was just covering up for his offensive coordinator on that 3rd and 11 terrible call from Sunday. I wanted you to hear Rob Thompson, number 7, Pat, if we could. We're gonna hear 7 and 8 defending Wathan holding Schwarber in the first inning.
In the first inning, you have to be careful there because Sanchez can throw, and it was a little bit offline. By our reports, he's a more accurate thrower than that throw there. And you've got Harper coming to the plate. So you better make sure with the catch making the first out, you better make sure that guy's going to be standing up at the plate.
Okay. Logically, you can't argue that maybe that would be the way to go. But again, you've had the most aggressive third base coach all year long, getting guys thrown out left and right by not putting up the stop sign. And then you get to the postseason and you get a tight sphincter. I'm not buying with Rob Thompson. I don't believe Rob Thompson truly supported that decision. And I know this. If you watch the TV broadcast, it is clear Kyle Schwarber did not. He was upset with it.
Sure.
Because he went back to the bench and was like, and they're all talking about it and I think that's why Bryce ignored him later. I think that's why part of it is I don't trust your decision making. All of a sudden, you're getting a tight sphincter in the biggest game of the year. You all of a sudden get conservative. You've been riverboat gambler all year long, and justifying it. So let's get after it. It's a big game.
Yeah, I mean, and the guy gets thrown out. We're second guessing that also.
I don't think
there's probably more evidence for him to hold him than there is to send him. Schwarber's not a great runner. The ball wasn't that deep. You have one of the most clutch playoff hitters on deck in Bryce Harper. There is a lot of evidence into the thinking that was probably going through Wathan's mind at that point. Now the throw goes way up the line, and of course everybody's, oh, come on, you got to send him there. Okay,
to the pitcher's mound.
If it's a one hopper to the catcher standing there, everybody's going to say, okay, yeah, I understand it. Slow runner, Harper's coming up. All that, there's so many things that could have erased it.
Well, the only way he could have done a one hopper would be as if he threw it in foul territory. He was in. I mean, that would have been a really hard throw for him to be able to have a one hopper to the plate. It was a bad angle for him.
What are you talking about angles? The baseball field goes this way. I catch a ball, I'm throwing to home. It's a straight line. There's not a bad angle. There's no bad angle,
Bob,
John. It's baseball.
You can have a straight line to home, throwing it from your right, having it have to go, having a ball your left, and you have to have it go right is not as easy as being in right field, getting the ball, and having a straight view of the plate where you're throwing it directly straight. There's a difference between that.
You are throwing it directly straight.
But it's not the same as if you're taking an angle on it. You're coming in on a ball, or you come in and you charge a ball, and you're coming right in it, and you're in fair territory, you got it, and you throw it in, and you're right to the plate. It's not the same as what was last night. And they talked about it on the broadcast at length.
I don't care what the broadcast talks about.
Okay, guys who played the game, I think they have an opinion that matters.
He said, okay, well, you believe everybody you hear. I don't. He caught the ball, he set his feet, and he threw it home. It's baseball. You're in the lines of baseball. It's a straight throw.
Well, he threw it to the pitcher's mound.
It was a bad throw. But let's get back to Watson.
Okay.
There's plenty of evidence to support what he did. If that throw does indeed go to home plate and the catcher just stands there and catches it, everybody, okay, good not sending him, slow runner, and you have Harper coming up. The fact that the ball was up the line, that's got everybody going. How could you not have sent them?
I mean, it was a pitcher's mound where the ball went. It went to the right. It was pretty much the pitcher's mound.
Right, but all right, before the ball was thrown.
I said, go, 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 because this team all year long I've been told all year long, be aggressive. Force the other team to make plays. That's what this team's about. Do it. So then in the playoff game, Pat, they don't do it? They don't do what has been their DNA all year long?
I think it's completely inexcusable to have runners on second and third with no outs and not get anything there. And look, I've harped on it all season long, so I do apologize. But if your leadoff hitter gets on and he's on third base and you have that ball hit out there, and you don't feel comfortable sending him on a ball that far, maybe should. Anyway,
maybe he shouldn't be leading off.
But
maybe he's clogging up the base pass a little bit.
He had a good game, but if that's Trey Turner, if that's Bryson Stott, hell, if that's Bryce Harper, that's a run. The decision was bad. I thought it was bad in the moment. Disagree with it even more when you saw the replay because the throw wasn't even close. I thought Schwarber would have been safe. I didn't like the explanation. Haven't liked Watson's decision for most of the season. And I completely agree with you, John. That is exactly why Bryce Harper ran through that stop sign yesterday, because he wasn't going to have a repeat of what happened in the first inning, which probably had every single one of the players questioning, what the hell did we just do? It's the playoffs, and we're sitting here stopping guys from going. We haven't done that.
Let's hear Rob Thompson talk about the Harper play that you just referenced.
Yeah, I want to talk about Harper running through the sign there. Do you get, because of the player that he is, you give him that kind of leeway to kind of do that? It was a great play, but, you give him that kind of, because he is a superstar like that?
No. He just he's just so aggressive, and he wants to win. He wants to score. It's not like I tell him, hey, if somebody tells you not to run, go ahead and run if you want to. It's not. We don't do that. But he's just so instinctive and so aggressive that he sometimes runs through stop signs.
He ran through stop signs. He was aggressive. So Dusty doesn't embody what he's asking for.
I don't know. He had a bad game. Dusty had a bad game, and I went back and forth with you playing devil's advocate, because I did tell you earlier that in my mind I leaned more towards make them make the perfect play to start the game. Make them make the great throw. If you're out at home, it sucks, but you're making them make a great play right off the bat. That was one thing. Also, we're talking about 2 Dusty Watson plays. There was 3. Castellanos got thrown out at home.
Yeah, but I had no problem with Castellanos as being thrown out.
Yeah,
I didn't have a problem with that either.
But it's the yin and the yang of it. Like, where are you, Dusty? What are we doing here? You're holding up 2 guys and you're sending another. The 2 guys you held up, you should have sent. The one guy you did send got thrown out.
As the catch is being made, too, he's got 1 foot on the warning track to foul territory, and he literally is like jumping on his side to get leverage to be able to throw that ball in. And when all year long I'm told, we're aggressive. We're willing to get guys thrown out because we want to be aggressive. We want to force teams to make plays. And in the biggest game of the year, all of a sudden you get a tight sphincter, and that's what he did. And Harper was almost complete blatant disrespect, and I'm glad he did it. I think all of Philadelphia was cheering.
I don't think it was blatant disrespect. I think it happens a lot. I think it's just more heightened because it's the playoffs. Like we see guys run through stop signs all the time. And Harper especially, he seems to have a knack for it. But in the regular season in May and June, it's like, whatever, it's May and June. In the playoffs, when everybody's watching, it's different a little bit. And I didn't look at it as disrespectful. I looked at it as on brand for Bryce Harper.
It was. He was going to take control because he wasn't going to let Dusty Watson cost them a victory.
Once he threw that hat off, once he flicked the helmet off, if I was Watson, I would have just turned my back and be like, do what you want, dude. It's all on you.
It was so
I ain't
emphatic.
And he was way in front of him. And Harper had a quote I read this morning, I didn't pick him up in time. You had nothing else to see but him standing there with his arms up in the air, don't go. But, how many times are you talking about 3 plays that involve your third base coach? I mean, it's just crazy that after one playoff game, there were 3 plays that he was involved in.
I don't think most. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
I don't think most of these teams that are left in the playoffs. I don't think most of those fan bases know who the third base coach is.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, I know who it is. I think he's had a terrible year. I am not a fan of his work.
If they announced that he wasn't coming back, I wouldn't be crying about it.
Yeah, I don't think he's had a good year at all. And in the biggest game, come on, Dusty. We're trying to win a championship here. Let's not all of a sudden forget what got you there. Dancing with what brung you.
We're gonna have a
Dusty's dancing on his own a little too much. That's what I think.
There's gonna be somebody rounding third in this series or in the playoffs rather, and Watson just standing there with his arms up in the air like, I don't know what to tell you. Do what you want.
Hey, Mothers Against Drunk Driving wants you to know for victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you're not alone. You always have a place at MADD. Call the 24-hour victim hotline at 877-MADD, M-A-D-D, help, or visit madd.org. That's MADD.org. By the way, some good news this morning for Philadelphia residents. They have identified and arrested the punk the other night that jumped on that woman's car.
Oh, they did find him?
They got him. Yeah,
Good.
They got him. And the public is the reason the police say there's no mugshot yet, but the police say the public solved the case.
Good.
As far as finding him. So can't wait to see him. See what he looks like.
What's going on with people? Like, what are you doing?
I think it's crazy. Pat, have you seen the?
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Well, you didn't see the bike rider the other night, the ATV driver on the street that jumped on the woman's car with 2 kids in the back seat.
No,
broke her back
window. He jumped into the car, shattered the glass with 2 kids in the back seat, and then this woman's awesome.
Yeah,
she gets out of the car. Pat, he headbutts her with his helmet on because he's hiding his freaking face because he's a little wuss boy. And then she literally goes over. He gets on his bike. She pushes him right over. This woman is absolutely awesome.
Get her to throw out the first pitch tonight.
Seriously, absolutely awesome. I loved it. And she pushed him over. She literally just said, pump around. She was not going to let this punk intimidate her. So that was it. I agree with you, though, Bob, is that I think all the confinement of a year and a half caused a lot of these problems.
Wow.
I think people just
get out your frustration somewhere else. Like, leave other people alone.
All right, we have plenty more in the Phils. Red October has been going absolutely wild and off to a great start. The Eagles are still there though, and Bob says his outlook the week of an Eagles game has changed.
Now, let's see what's in Cooney's corner.
So a normal week, okay, you're playing the Rams this week. So you start thinking, oh, Stafford, what's he been up to? And you start looking up stats and all this. Last week, Sam Howell, how's he been playing? Let me look at their running backs, their receivers. How are they going? All that. Haven't done that this year with the Eagles. I haven't.
What do you mean?
I'm not looking at the opponents. I'm not looking at anything, other coaches, how they approach this. What did they do against this other team? And it's so weird that it's like this with me. I am just so in on what are the Eagles doing? Like, what's going on with them? Why aren't they playing up to expectations? Are they building to get to where we thought they were going to be? Are we seeing signs of life in this area, in that area? Is the linebacker position, safety positions, are they really troublesome to the point of why didn't they address it more during the offseason? I don't have my answers with the Eagles yet enough to look at other teams is how I am looking at it. And it's weird that that's the way I go about it. Now, come Saturday to get ready for the pregame show, I'll dive all into the Rams and see what's going on there. But, man, I'm just really, I want to say kind of befuddled by the Eagles right now. I just don't know. Like, are they getting better? Are they coming on? I watched some of the game again yesterday. And was kind of like, wow, this defense, what are they doing? I watched the opening drive of Washington go right down and score. And I'm still kind of, I don't want to say flustered. I'm just kind of confused right now. I'm looking for that one word. I put that out there earlier this week. What's your one word to describe the Eagles so far?
I had said confounding because I just can't, I don't understand what I'm seeing most
I'm kind of confused. I just don't know. And watching that opening drive, which I probably shouldn't yesterday have, but, God, the way Washington just did what they wanted and went downfield and held the ball for 7.5 minutes,
that was
I
incredible.
didn't see that coming.
That was a great drive.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so odd that I'm like looking to pick up every little splice of Eagles thing that I can, and I'm so worried or so enthralled in that I'm not looking at oppositions right now. And then that's not the way I usually go about things.
And the weird thing is I think I look too much at the opposition, especially when the Eagles are such a dominant team. I obsess too much on what the opposition's got, and not what the Eagles have got. There is one thing that I think too is that I love the fact, and this goes in Brian Johnson's check column, good column.
Okay.
He had the terrible first drive by the defense. What did Brian Johnson have to do? He had to make sure that the defense got a blow, little rest, and he wanted to have a long drive of his own. That was a pretty brilliant first drive. Jalen Hurts executed that to perfection. But as much as we'll criticize Brian Johnson, I thought that was great because you got your defense a 7-minute rest, and you responded that way. It was one of my only critiques of the Doug Peterson administration. I always felt when his team gave up a drive like that, they got anxious to make like a quick hit, and they'd have a 3-and-out.
Right.
They would give the ball back.
That's a great point that you make.
I thought that was a really good job on Brian Johnson's part, so I'm going to give him some credit because he takes a lot of bullets here. That was a great move. That was a beautiful drive. Those two first drives were absolutely awesome.
Yeah, that is a really, really good point that you make. And it also shows maybe just how good this Eagles team will become, however you want to put it, in that one week you say, oh, you know what, this week we need to get the ball to him. Boom, you get it to him. Oh, you know what, this drive we need to run the ball to let our defense rest. Boom, you run the ball, you do whatever you can, you get a 7.5-minute drive. A lot of times with this team, it seems like, especially offensively, they can kind of do whatever they want.
I mean, Pat, I know you're not as comfortable with the Brian Johnson thing. As far as, I think that was I thought that was a great opening drive for the Eagles.
I mean, it was. Yeah.
I don't think we talked about it on Monday either, and I feel bad about that because he deserves that, I guess.
He does. It was, unfortunately, it's like the what have you done for me lately thing. I think a lot of fans harp on the third. I mean, I do, hand up.
Right.
The 3rd and 11 call.
And I did, too, so.
Yeah, I mean, you think when you're favored by that much and you go into overtime, you start looking at the mistakes and not the things that kind of got you to overtime. I mean, look, their offense put up points. It wasn't so much the offense and Brian Johnson that was the problem, it was the defense. But it wasn't like Brian Johnson was impervious to making mistakes. The 3rd and 11 call was brutal. I don't care what Nick Sirianni says. I believe it was Brian Johnson. And, I think his red zone offense still is not fixed. I mean, they're settling for too many field goals. But overall, if you had to come out of the game and go like, all right, well, what was the issue? The offensive defense. What got you to overtime? What was the reason why you had to go to overtime against the Commanders? It was the defense. So yeah, my ire isn't so much of Brian Johnson after this week. It's more of Sean Desai.
Yeah, it's by the way, it's 60 field goals attempts is what he's on pace for. Last year, 23. In 16 games, it was 23. He's on a 17-game pace of 60 field goal attempts. Wow. That's got to change.
I'll take the under.
That's got. Oh, yeah. I'll take the under. I'll take the under 45. But there's still too many. Way too many. Hey, Tim in Perkiomenville joins us. Tim, I didn't even know there was a Perkiomenville.
Hey, John. Well, I actually called you last week. Remember, I woke up the neighborhood.
Yeah, you do. You're one of those neighborhood disruptors. I love it.
Yeah. Well, listen. I watched the game last night, and I really loved the way that the Phillies played. I know that the Eagles are 4-0, which is great. 4-0 is okay. But you got to play. You got to play good football. You got to play good football. And the Phillies, they're playing good baseball. Now, the Phillies are in a different situation. Every game matters. You have to win at all costs. The Eagles, they have to win, but they have to show that they want to win. They have to actually go out there and win a game by more than just playing on the limb.
Well, they want to win. You're not questioning them wanting to win, I hope.
No, I'm not questioning that. I'm just questioning that they're all happy that they're 4-0, and that's all they're focusing on. But they're just playing to win. They're not playing to win with good football.
Yeah, I think they're just not executing it, Tim. Appreciate it. I just think they're not executing.
Yeah,
where they that team, the Eagles, I never questioned them wanting to win
No.
or their desire to play a great game.
I've rarely questioned any athlete, let alone team, that doesn't want to go out and win. I don't think they're going out there and saying, "Oh, we're going to win without playing our best football." I don't know what's not clicking, but it's just not. And
2 new coordinators.
I guess, yeah,
That's what it is.
It could be.
It's got to be.
And it's just not. It's not there yet. Now, whether it all comes together, it should. There's no reason it shouldn't. You're going to be missing your right guard for a few weeks in Juergens with the sprained foot. So maybe that makes some kind of a little bit of difference. I don't know. But, yeah, they're not – they haven't – it hasn't been a case where they haven't done this at all yet this year. You know, they've done a sprinkling of everything. The running game's been good at times. Passing game's been good at times. Devontae Smith's been good at times. A.J. Brown at times. You know, all that. There hasn't really been anything that you can say, God, they haven't done this at all this year. So it's probably going to come together at some points.
Hey, Kieran sends me an email yesterday, Pat, and I don't think it was Kieran Culkin. Sends me an email and says, hey, look at Jonathan Gannon's first 4 games. He was terrible. Jonathan Gannon didn't have the weapons that right now Sean Desai has. Comparing Jonathan Gannon's first 4 games to him is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, not even close. Gannon didn't have nearly the amount of firepower that Sean Desai has.
Or Bradbury, you know what I mean? Or
Reddick.
Or Jalen Carter, or Jordan Davis in the run game. Come on. Like, I mean, come on, look at Gannon's first 4 games. Gannon's doing a great job, by the way. He's getting praised left and right for what he's squeezing out of that lemon. And we'll see him in December. I have a feeling by December, Pat, that lemon of the Cardinals will be an actual lemon.
Probably.
Because you can't just keep playing tough. I would imagine he's going to have some blowout weeks coming at some point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can make the case that last week was a blowout, and they lost by 18.
Yeah, it was one score game in the fourth quarter, though.
I took him in that game, and yeah.
He takes him
Shout out to them.
I can't believe that big one.
That was half-hearted, Pat.
I wasn't happy about it. You know, I mean, you a 14
You don't like
point
to lose
underdog.
money?
Not really.
No.
But
that's
luckily,
not fun. Yeah.
Luckily, I won it back yesterday with the Phils, so we're rolling, boys.
Yeah, see, you did have that. I had the Phils in the money line. I had the hit thing too, where you had to pick 4 guys to get a hit.
Okay.
And collectively, and I won that one.
Really?
I am going to lose. Well, everybody got a hit.
No, he's John's on fire.
I am on fire.
Woohoo.
But as I said to Bob, I've been cashing out, Pat, because I know that I'm going to give it back. There's no way the hot streak that I'm on right now is like 3 weeks long. There is no way that that's going to sustain itself.
Yeah, I'll be cashing out a little bit today.
I'm going to do. It's a good thing to do. And they make it easy, so it's good stuff. All right, we got a lot coming up for you, including Pat's going to entertain you with Pat's Takes, which
Really?
is always he is, Bob. He's going to entertain us.
Half-hearted,
That was
Bob.
half-hearted. And Rob Thompson, again, wants to talk about what his starting pitcher did for him last night. You'll hear that first. John Kincade Show on 97.5, The Fanatic. Look, I'm not just a spokesperson for H&H Heating and Air Conditioning. Call me a customer.
The Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5, The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5, The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
One down, 12 to go? Let's worry about one down, one to go first.
Yep.
John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Congrats to the Phils on their 4-1 victory last night. We've been celebrating it with you all morning. The only person taking some heat is Dusty Wathen. But we have First Friday coming up on Friday. We love when you get to come to our studios. Our friends from Red Robin are bringing breakfast. Well, it's more like you're eating lunch at breakfast. I can't wait. I love the bottomless fries. I think they have the best fries in that kind of restaurant.
You know,
Amazing.
fries are such a big part of a restaurant.
Steak fries, baby. Nice and crispy.
I love me some steak fries.
Oh, man.
Hello.
And so you can you get registered. We have some spots remaining, Pat. We do have some spots, right?
Yeah.
That are still remaining?
I tweeted it out from the show's Twitter account.
Okay.
If you go to 975thefanatic.com, you can find it on the homepage. Click over, but it is there, the sign up. You just got to register, and you can come hang out with us and eat Red Robin, which is delicious. Let me tell you, the first time I ever had an egg on my burger,
was there? You had the
Red
hangover?
Robin, and it was like a revelation to me.
It's really good as long as it's not wet at all. I need a totally dead fried egg. I can't have any of the liquid.
Oh, like the runny?
Oh,
You don't want any yolk?
I'm with you on that.
No,
yeah.
it's like you and tomato, Bob. So, hey,
Okay, fair enough.
By the way, Todd Fedoruk will come on by. He'll join us on Friday in studio for that.
Awesome.
He'll be there. Kate Scott is going to come on by and hang out with us.
She's so much fun.
She is fun. She sort of takes over the show. It becomes like that. Kate comes in. It's like Oprah. She's bringing gifts, and she's going to just be like Oprah. She
I'm
takes
just happy
over the
she's
show.
bringing herself.
Oh, it's Kate's fun. Then we'll have an Eagles guest we'll announce to you tomorrow. So if you want to be a part of this, we'd love to have it. Plus, we'll have plenty of Phillies, too, throughout the course of the day. So if you want to get in, go to 975thefanatic.com or find the link on the show page. Go to 975thefanatic.com. Get yourself signed up now.
Yeah,
for
come
a
hang
great,
out.
great day.
You can see Bob live.
Let's, Pat, I know I teased it, but I'm going to have to. I really don't want to miss the opportunity for you to entertain the audience with Pat's takes.
With or without, either way, it's time for Pat's Takes.
So don't let me down, Dusty.
Jeez, man. That's a lot of pressure on me. All right, I'll try. Let's set the bar low, gentlemen. All right, next time. Pat's Takes brought to you by nobody, so you can sponsor it if you want to.
Yes.
Everyone loves to say how Disney World is the most magical place on Earth, but magic isn't averse to being sued. A recent Karen visited Disney World and is now looking for a payday after a gruesome injury that she sustained at the Humunga Cowabunga ride in the water park. That is a real ride. I did not
I've
make
been on
that
it.
up. Yeah, okay. All right. Is it fun?
It is spectacular.
Okay, cool. She didn't enjoy it. What Karen did not expect was to be bullied by the Cowabunga.
Why?
As she slid down the water slide, it was as if she slid back to grade school because she had a violent wedgie.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yes.
A wedgie that even Mickey and Minnie couldn't help but point and laugh at. Now, instead of doing what a sane person would do, complaining to management and getting a free character dinner out of it, she decided to sue Disney.
What?
Joe, take a wild guess how much she's suing for.
$100,000.
Bobby?
20,000.
You guys are in the middle. $50K.
Oh, my gosh. She's an idiot.
$50,000 for a wedgie. If the lawsuit goes through, it might be the most expensive wedgie of all time. Disney CEO Bob Iger commented on the lawsuit, telling the media, quote, we never want our guests to feel like they're living in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, one of our most popular properties, which is available now on Disney+. We hope to come to a resolution, much like Carol Danvers, Kamala Khan, and Monica Rambeau hope to do in our new movie, The Marvels, in theaters November 10th. As you can see, Bob Iger is clearly taking the lawsuit very seriously. I expect this to be thrown out.
I had to do that multiple times with Liv because she wanted to do it. And the first time I did it, I didn't like the drop. But I had to do it again because your little kid wants to do it. You have to be there with him.
Absolutely.
And she was, wasn't even bothered by it.
Which ride is it?
The Humunga Cowabunga. It's you drop the long drop inside the tube, and then when you hit the level of the water. You're inside the tube, and then it spits you out into the pool.
Where's it at? Which part?
It's there's the two of them. Typhoon Lagoon, I think.
Oh, see, we don't normally do water parks.
That's
so
all.
I don't think I've ever been on that.
Yeah, I don't. This probably won't get far, but good luck to her.
I wouldn't imagine. Wedgies are annoying though.
They're not fun.
50,000.
I like giving them more than I like getting them. You know what I'm saying, Bobby?
I got you, Pat.
And we'll move on.
Please.
For some, the last 2 weeks of the NFL season have seen both their worlds collide. Now, for others, it's become a personal hell. It's all centered around diehard Chiefs fan Taylor Swift. I'm not even going to get into the backstory on this one because it's all ESPN, the NFL Network, every news station in America, every sports blog looking for lame clicks, a smattering of radio stations, and the site formerly known as Twitter.com. It's all they've been talking about. But while some found an annoyance, others found an excuse to drink because alcohol in football is a love story like no other. A Taylor Swift drinking game was created for the Sunday Night Football broadcast with one simple rule. You drink whenever they show Taylor Swift on the screen, and you pray to God your blood alcohol level doesn't match Patrick Mahomes' QBR rating. ESPN's Jeff Darlington was witnessing the game firsthand play out as he was delayed at a Buffalo airport. Jeff tweeted out a video of all the fearless fans getting ready to drink. And he even mentioned how he was buying the bar rounds every fifth time they showed Kansas City native Taylor Swift. I think she's from KC. But the fun and frivolity turned dark fast. Darlington became the anti-hero as he tweeted that his flight was once again delayed after fans could not take the Taylor Swift onslaught, and one threw up while admitting that he should have said no when it came to Jeff's free booze offer. Darlington, having worked for ESPN and has seen a press conference or two, knew to take full responsibility, even if it wasn't actually his fault. Hopefully the cavalier nature with his Capital One venture card won't ruin his reputation. The lightweight drinker decided to shake it off and grab a bag of $7 brownie brittle at the store at the airport, and the passengers went about their day, eventually taking off. Luckily, there was no bad blood between the passengers and Darlington for his generosity, which resulted in a second flight delay. One annoyed woman did say, however, that she knew Darlington was trouble once he walked in, and she's planning on suing ESPN for $50,000.
That's like eight references.
Yeah,
to music. I like it. Very good.
Shoved them in there.
There we go.
Today in history, 1959, the first World Series game took place west of St. Louis as the Dodgers beat the White Sox, and that was out in L.A. 1980, Mike Schmidt. And you guys probably remember this one. He hit 2 home runs and propelled the Phillies to a 6-4 win against Montreal to secure the NL East title for the Phils. They would
the
later
second
go on.
one was hit off of Stan Bonson.
Of course.
Wow.
How do you like that? I watched it in the Cherry Hill Mall with
Rock.
Yep.
There you
Tim,
go.
Glenn, Scotty Rico. 1987, we had the first Scab Sunday as the NFL used replacement players during the player strike. I'm sure you guys also remember that one.
Oh, yeah.
Not for great reasons. And in 2001, Barry Bonds hit his 70th home run of the season, tying Mark McGwire for the totally legit home run title. And that's all it takes.
Good job, Pat.
Sweet.
8 o'clock hour of the John Kincade Show coming your way. If you've been thinking of getting the latest iPhone, check out the amazing wireless offer from Boost Infinite. For more, just dial pound 250 on your phone and say Boost Infinite. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto dial text message from this station. He joins us every week at this time, NFL's premier insider, Adam Schefter. And he joins us courtesy of my friends at Landis Block and Concrete, landisbc.com. Check out their photo gallery online. They're absolutely awesome. I did sit out on the patio last night for around an hour, so it was great. I love it. You'll love it, too. Let's go to the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business is a big day. Adam Schefter, you know what a big day is. Now, we're all Phillied up with Red October, but Green October hasn't been too bad either at 4-0, yet we haven't seen even close to what I think people expected of this year's team.
No, they have not clicked yet, and they're 4-0, which is pretty impressive. And on Sunday, they flirted with disaster. They were able to find a way to get it done and pull through. That's the sign of a good team. But somehow, some way, they're going to have to start playing better, or this isn't going to hold up. It's just not sustainable playing at the current level. And I think that they know that. The offense has to be better. Defense has to be better. I'm sure that they're always looking for ways to improve the roster. We'll see what they can do. But, yeah, so far, so good. But there is definite room for improvement.
Shefty, I saw a stat I was kind of surprised about that had the Super Bowl losing team the next year, starting in their first 4 or 5 games, are basically 500 or below. They're just not that good to start out. Is there that lends to saying there's a Super Bowl hangover? But you've been around teams. Is that a real thing? Is it something that teams can put their hands on and have told you, yeah, it's a reality?
It's a definite real thing. And if you go back and look at every team that lost the Super Bowl, the overwhelming majority of them have not performed up to expectations the next year. And there are a few reasons for that. Number one, it's a long season. The year before, they play longer, and the season goes longer than other people. It takes a lot out of them physically and emotionally. To lose a game like that, it's like you run a race, now you got to rerun the whole race, and there's something to that. It just, the defeat itself stays with you, and there's no doubt it has some type of an effect. There just have not been very many teams that have lost in the Super Bowl that have come back and played better the next year. If we just went through and did the one-loss record, the expectations, the data, they just struggle. It's a real thing. And so that makes it all the more impressive that the Eagles are off to the start that they are, that they found a way to get through and win, because that's a real thing. That's not imagined. That's proven over time. And so far, they've been able to overcome it.
Hey, Adam, I have to ask you to pause for 1 second because I forgot to do something with my chemo brain, and I want to make our listeners $1,000. Hold on a second.
Win $1,000 right now. 97.5 The Fanatics Kelly Green Cash.
Adam Schefter wants you to win $1,000 right now and a brand new 2023 Birds Kelly Green jersey. But all they have to do, Adam, is text the word HAPPY, HAPPY, like Adam is always happy to come on with us, to 45911, or you enter it on the Fanatic app or at 975thefanatic.com. One winner selected at random is going to win $1,000. Winners will get a call from Beasley, so be sure to answer your phone. Complete rules at 975thefanatic.com. Fanatics Kelly Green Cash presented by Rand Spear, the accident lawyer. Demand Rand. Call 1-800-90-LEGAL. Never text and drive. You have around till 8:15. Text HAPPY to 45911. Adam's doing it right now because he's not an employee. Adam, you could win $1,000. That could come in handy. I mean, it can always come in.
But then I would be violating the no texting while driving. I'm driving my daughter to school right now, and so I can't text it. Otherwise, I would have. And with the speed at which I type, I may have been favored to win that contest.
Well, it's good. They have till 8:15 to get in. Adam Schefter joining us and very patient with me on the Comcast Business Hotline. Adam, I look at the landscape in the NFC, and as much as we talk about how the Eagles haven't played up to their capabilities, they also haven't done what Dallas has done. They haven't done what other teams have done, like giving up losses. Where you see the Bills losing a terrible game to the Jets, you see the Bengals are now an absolute dumpster fire. The only team that's held serve with them is the 49ers. They've looked a lot better, but the Eagles keep saying we don't want to play our best ball in October, but you want to play a hell of a lot better ball. But right now, I mean, they're holding serve. They're not giving up those games.
San Francisco's looked like the best team in football so far.
I think that's fair.
Games. Whatever that's worth, right? Like, okay, so they get the 4-game award. That doesn't mean anything. But they have looked like the best team in football, the most balanced team in football. The offense has just been humming. The defense is stifling. It's just a really good football team. And that game Sunday night, I would think, would have the attention and interest of all of Philadelphia, because those are going to be the two teams that stand in the way of Philadelphia getting where it wants to go, right? Hard to imagine that there's another team. Detroit's been very impressive so far, too, and Detroit is going to be heard from, and Detroit's going to have a say in all this. But San Francisco and Dallas, who play Sunday night, those are the two teams that seem like the toughest competitors to the Eagles, along with the Lions. I would put the Lions in that category, by the way. I really would. They've been very impressive to me.
Who would you suggest it's better for the Eagles to root for in that game?
It's a good question. I think probably the Cowboys, because they're going to get their chance, the Cowboys, to beat them
twice.
And you don't know you don't know where the Niners are going to get losses, right? So if you want home field, to me, like, if you're rooting, I don't think it matters. Like, if Philadelphia handles its business and plays the way it wants, you can root whoever you want for that night. Like, it doesn't matter. Dallas, San Francisco. But if Philadelphia is going to lean on somebody for help, I would think they're going to need the help of
San Fran to lose a few.
Yeah, but that's presuming that the Eagles are able to handle business against the Cowboys, and we don't know whether they will or won't. If they're not, then you want San Francisco to win. So it's a hard thing to say.
Shefty, I want to ask you kind of a two-part question. One, I want you to answer as the reporter, and two, I want you to answer as a football fan. This tush-push, brotherly shove has gotten so much national attention from now coaches, other players, people against it. We saw Jack Del Rio come out against it. One, talking to people around the league, what has been the general feeling that you've gotten from people around the league about it? And then two, as Adam Schefter, watcher of NFL games for a long time, what is your thought on it?
As a reporter, the story doesn't excite me. Don't really care that much about it. As a fan, I say teams should be allowed to do what they want to do. The Giants tried to tush-push the other night on fourth down, lined up two offensive linemen in the back. It didn't work.
And two got injured. And two guys got injured.
Yeah. So if teams want to do it and they want to have a little rugby scrum match to get a first down, if that's what the Eagles want to do and you don't like it, go stop it. Go stop it. The Giants weren't successful on it. It's not an automatic thing. If it were so automatic, everybody would do it. They're really good at it because they got a really good offensive line. They got a quarterback who's really strong, and they're able to make it work. I don't have any issues with it. That's why I think my answer as a fan ties back to my answer as a reporter and why the story doesn't really do anything for me. Like, who cares? It's a play.
But have people brought it up to you, Chef? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Have people brought it up to you, or have you talked to people around the league about it a little bit? No?
No.
Okay.
No, but typically, well, more often than not, Bob, I would say that I'm calling people, hey, what's the deal with this? What's the deal? And like I said, the story doesn't really interest me that much.
Right, I got you.
I haven't asked anybody, what do you think of, the tush push, or the brotherly shove, or whatever we're going to call it. It's just, and nobody said to me, boy, I'm so worked up over the tush push. I just can't get my day going.
Jack Del Rio was.
Hey, what do you think of the signing of Bradley Roby?
It helps. Look, they needed some help there. I don't think it's a cure-all, but help is on the way. And
it's a body, right? It's a healthy body.
Right. It's not going to hurt any. It's not going to hurt. So the question is how good he can be, how effective he can be. He's been a good player. Let's see if he can step up for them. And like you said, John, it's a body. They need help there, and that's the latest help that's on the way.
Shefty, off the top of your head, do you remember any teams that were deemed good going into a season, or really good and on a good run, and they kind of did sleepwalk through, for lack of a better term, through some games, but won them, and then did round into form, did become that team that most anticipated, like the Eagles are doing now? Do you recall any teams that kind of did this?
Well, I don't know that it's sleepwalking, Bob, but I think that we've seen it time and time again where teams get hot later in the year. I could think of the Giants Super Bowl teams, the double Giants Super Bowl teams, and that beat the Patriots in, I think it's 2007 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
I could think of a number of Patriot teams early on that didn't play great and then got better as the season went on. That's a hallmark of Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick coach teams, to start getting right and well and improved around Thanksgiving and beyond. And so, yeah, it happens. But usually, I think when you see a team and it's not right, you could tell, like, this team's off. They're just off. Now, I don't think that yet about the Eagles because they're 4-0. They're one of two unbeaten teams in the league. But you do want to see them get untracked a little bit and play better football.
As one thing, are you Taylor Swift out? Are you we haven't heard.
Here's the thing.
I'm so tired of that damn story. I can't stand it.
Yeah, let me tell you something. People really care. Like my son on Sunday night texted me a picture of my daughter at the kitchen table. My wife was trying to get her to go to sleep, she wanted to watch the Chiefs-Jets game. I don't remember the last time Sunday night at 11. My 15-year-old daughter wanted to stay up late to watch Sunday Night Football, and I guarantee you she wasn't staying up to see whether they could run the tush-push or not, okay? She was staying up to see whether she could see Taylor Swift and Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in the box, primarily Taylor Swift. I'm just telling you, when does the league pander to anybody?
I think it's orchestrated. I think it's a deal between the league and her.
I don't think so. I think Taylor Swift has all the publicity and attention.
Did you see all the ads? Every time they showed her on screen when they went to the commercial, the first ad was her tour or her thing that's coming to theaters. I'm sensing orchestration. Adam, put on the detective hat. I'm telling you.
Well, it's quite a ruse. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, John, but
you never know.
I just think the league. I think the league is bending over backwards to do anything it can to get her because she's never said yes to play the Super Bowl at halftime in the league. She's the great white whale for the NFL for the halftime show, and the league can never get her. And so the league is like, just whatever we can do, Taylor. Like, we want you playing halftime at some point. I don't know. That to me, that's more along the lines of what it is, but I understand why you would say that.
Adam, we appreciate your time as always and your patience with me. Thank you very much.
John, I have all the patience in the world for you. Never try my patience. That's the way it goes. Bob, fantasy basketball draft 2 weeks from tonight.
All right, I will text you, buddy.
You have any tips?
We'll go. Shefty and I will go back and forth.
Well, don't draft James Harden.
That might be a good late round pick.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's gonna go high. Last year I took Maxey. I had him targeted, and I was happy. Primarily, he came on. I think he's gonna be great again this year. I'm a big Maxey fan.
Well, yeah, he listens, so that's good news. You know, we can.
Well, Tyrese, I want to thank him. He's got a ring from sources last year, so he must enjoy my championship ring.
Thank you very much, Adam.
Thanks, Shefty.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Adam Schefter joined us courtesy of the fine folks at Landis Block and Concrete. Check them out. They're absolutely awesome in Souderton, the Jamie Moyer hometown, where Jamie Moyer is going to throw out the first pitch tonight, reporting.
Yeah, how about that? Why would you announce who's throwing out the first pitch? I kind of like the surprise of it all.
I predicted the Reese Hoskins thing, but I thought that they would do it in the NLCS.
Yeah, that was cool. So they must have some bigger things lined up in the NLCS.
Well, the report is he's going down to Florida to continue to rehab. So
Correct.
He probably,
didn't want to have to fly up for a
fly
game
back and stuff. And
I don't want to look ahead to that series until this game's won because I think that's a little too arrogant. But last night put a smile on my face as far as thinking, they're ready to take on, not necessarily knock off, but they're ready to take on anybody if that lineup's doing what they did last night. That's a tough pitcher they faced. So
don't you love baseball playoffs where it's just day after day after day after day?
It's aggravating though. I mean,
love it.
Last night was nerve wracking. It still was.
It's different, Like my wife stayed up and watched the game with me
all night.
Yeah, you and I were talking about it. Like she never does that.
She never does that either.
But it's the coolness of Philadelphia Phillies baseball. Like it's an event now. It's become almost like an Eagles Sunday where it's the event.
I love that.
Yeah, so
That's
do
great.
I.
We'll be ready for it tonight because we're going to be sleep deprived again tomorrow. So I want you to hear from Rob Thompson. I want you to hear from Trey Turner. We got a little behind the chains there, but we're going to get aggressive, unlike Brian Johnson in the red zone. John Kincade Show here on 97.5, The Fanatic. I love my friends at Window Nation. I love fall. It's all so beautiful. But you know what's coming in around 6-8 weeks? It's going to get cold. And you're going to need those drafty windows in your house replaced. And you're thinking, I can't afford it right now. What if I told you put your wallet away for 2 full years, but you get the benefit of brand new windows, any size, any style, any color you're looking for. And if you buy 2 windows, you get 2 free.
on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Yes, Game 2 tonight as the Phillies look to really punch their ticket into the NLDS, which would open on Saturday in Atlanta. John Kincade Show on The Fanatic.
Oh, Saturday playoff baseball.
Oh,
can't beat that.
Delicious.
And then off Sunday.
Oh, and then Eagles on Sunday,
Yeah.
which is great. Hey, calling all Temple alum, don't miss the Temple football homecoming game. The Owls will battle University of Texas San Antonio this Saturday at 2 p.m. at Lincoln Financial Field. All kids in 8th grade and younger can score a touchdown on the field after the game as part of the parent-child touchdown toss day. For tickets, visit owlstix.com. I can't wait to see you, Pat, do that with Jack.
Yeah, it should be fun.
And then Riley someday, he can split out as like DeAndre Swift. He doesn't know whose dad's going to throw to.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Jack's grounded at the moment, so we
Jack is grounded.
Yeah, he will not be probably attending Saturday's performance.
I love
He's grounded from what? Like going out and hanging with the other 4-year-olds or
It's straight home, it's no
took
TV.
his cigarettes away and
It's
stuff
tough.
like that.
I took his candy cigarettes away.
and his Apple Pay. Took
What
it
did
off
he
his
do?
phone.
Can I dive in?
He was just like 6:30 hits, and this kid becomes like a demon spawn. It's insane. Like
6:30 hits in the morning, you become a
his. You're right. You're not wrong about that, and I know where he gets it from. But his ability to make every little thing, an issue and difficult is infuriating. And last night it was eating dinner. He needed the perfect. Well, I want a hot dog, but I want the line of ketchup on the hot dog. No, this line isn't good enough. Wait, now it's cold. And I'm like, you know what? Throw it away. You're going to bed. You're grounded.
Go to bed. Good.
He knows what grounded means already?
I don't know if he does, but he's quickly going to find out. And a couple times last night, he tried to do hey, Dad, do you want to watch like this? Do you want to watch Tintin? And I was like, no, you're grounded.
No, sorry, buddy.
We can play a board game or something, Bubba. You're grounded.
We have Pat on Aaron Nola coming up, which I would think would be worth the price of admission. Want you to stick around for that. But Rob Thompson last night really wanted to brag on Zach Wheeler after the game, and it showed his appreciation for what this guy brings when Red October comes around.
Wheels was fantastic all night. I mean, this guy's been consistent all year. He's been really good. But I thought tonight his stuff was as good or better than any other start all year. Did it all last year in the postseason, too. So him and Nola have they've been in some pretty big games in the last couple of postseasons. So, yeah, he's a guy that you can lean on to give you some length and give you a quality outing.
As soon as he left the game is where my anxiety level went up. I was fine. Even when they scored to make it 3-1, I was fine. And that when Bohm, Bohm couldn't make that one play. He made the play, but he probably saved a run too.
Yeah.
But to me, I just say that it was as soon as he left the game, that's where my anxiety level took off. When he was pitching, not at all. Not at all. No concerns. He was in complete control.
He was. It was pretty cool to see. And it was what sucked was it was the little dinky stuff that got him. He didn't cover first base. A couple of infield hits. Like those things. You're like, oh man, that sucks if he's going to have to get out of here, and there's going to be a struggle because he didn't. They didn't convert on 2 infield hits. Bohm almost had that play at first.
He did.
And he kind of double clutched, even though I had to throw from, I think he was still on his ass, right?
He was.
But he kind of double clutched getting the ball out of his glove. Had he been able to get it clean, maybe they had a shot there. Had Wheeler covered or had Harper just gone back to the base, that's an out there.
Right,
so
exactly.
That was a shame. I felt okay when he left the game. I felt okay because you had your full bullpen back there behind you and everybody ready to go.
Did you feel okay, Pat, when Craig Kimbrell came in the 9th?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because he was coming in the 9th.
And 4-1.
Three-run lead.
It was a 3-run lead. Yeah, I felt fine with it. Now he gives up the leadoff double. And I went, all right. Like at that point I was still confident they would win the game. I was more concerned with the psyche of your closer. How worn down is he? He's never really been a strong October performance guy. So that was a little bit concerning. But overall, yeah, I like the fact that he used an assigned role for his closer. I didn't want to see a situation of we're going to bring in a guy for 1 out and then we're going to, bring in another guy to close it out for 2 out. No, no 4-out saves here. Just bring in the guy that is going to be, as you said, John, going to Cooperstown as a closer. Bring him in, let him do his job. He got it done, and we can go home happy. And that's what happened.
And I had a couple people last night on social media doing it. Yeah, you wanted Kimbrel. Did that scare you that ninth inning? I'm like, did you forget Brad Lidge? Did you think Brad Lidge was 3 up, 3 down all the time? Are you freaking nuts? How about everybody loves Tug McGraw, Steve Bedrock Bedrosian. Give me a break. Every closer that has been part of this organization, the talking points are always like, man, they make you laugh. Mitch Williams. Do I have to bring that up? I mean, come on. Everybody, there is there's something about being a closer for this team that just, and maybe every organization, and maybe we just don't look at it that way. Trey Turner had his first opportunity to experience Red October in that beautiful stadium, Citizens Bank Park. Here's what he had to brag on afterwards.
It was electric. It was a lot of fun. From the start, I think intros is, pretty funny. I laugh at, just the energy and watching the other team kind of have to deal with it is always kind of fun. And, but they were good. They were good, all game from the first inning and on their feet every 2 strikes. It was fun to be a part of.
Now, do you do the intros again next series, NLDS? I don't remember, and I swear I don't remember last year what the situation was. Did they do intros every single series? I know they do it for the World Series.
I would assume so, yeah.
World Series they do it, but they do it NLCS, NLDS. They keep doing it.
At least for the first game, sure.
Last night, I think they did bring in the chef, Pat, who makes the post-game meals.
Bobby Flay?
They introduced him. They introduced the person that drives the bus from the private airfield, to the team hotels. They introduced everybody last night. I mean, the Phillies.
I didn't see any of that.
Oh my gosh, they had them all out. I mean, it was a long list. Olivia goes, all these people get introduced. That's awesome for them to get that moment in front of the fans and everything. It was absolutely cool. So great night. Trey Turner, I'm glad you had a great night too. By the way, 2:20 today. Don't be freaked out. The first nationwide test since August of 2021. So it's been a couple years. The less than 1 minute alert, which can only be deployed by the U.S. president or the head of the FEMA, is designed to elevate the network's effectiveness in communicating national alerts within 10 minutes. So be alert today. At 2:20, don't be freaked out that something's going on badly.
It's a test.
It's just a test, which has, by the way, been done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. Because I got an email last night from a former classmate saying, this is the government trying to activate something in our bodies. And I just said, oh my gosh, some people, maybe, Pat, they enjoyed the gummies a little too much. They've been a little affected.
Yeah.
The government is going to send a tone out that's going to activate something in your body.
I'm shutting my phone off and wrapping it in tinfoil, boys. I'm not taking that chance of becoming a zombie.
By the way, that was a plot on General Hospital once, I think.
I'll be sending you guys a very convincing article I read on Facebook.com. It outlines everything that you expect at 2:20. And
from one of your friends who is a Facebook doctor.
Look, he didn't graduate high school, but he's very smart. He's a part of the dark web, so he knows this stuff.
Pat, I want to give the floor to you here because I know this one might be deliciously edgy. Aaron Nola takes the mound tonight in a critical game for the Phillies to advance to the NLDS. What's Pat's thought about that?
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. Let me hit the button.
Hit the tone. Yeah, that tone, too. That secret tone.
Is Pat's point of view. Here's Pat.
This doesn't turn people into zombies. It just turns them off of the radio. But boys, we persevere.
Yes.
Tonight you've got Aaron Nola, and that's all I'm looking at. I'm not even looking at the opponent. I'm looking at Aaron Nola tonight because tonight can do a lot for Aaron Nola, both for the fans like myself,
sure,
who have kind of lost their way with him and lost faith, but also can do a lot for Aaron Nola just on free agency. Aaron Nola is such a polarizing guy going into the final year of his contract, and a strong October could regain that $200 million payday that he seeks. It could end up boosting him from he had a bad season, but look what he did in big moments. And
like Wheeler had his best outing last night.
Exactly. And it starts tonight. Now, we have seen, and this has really been throughout his career, but when you look at Aaron Nola last year, his first playoffs with the Phillies, it literally is the definition of his career. It's good Nola and bad Nola. First 2 starts were great. Next 2 starts weren't so great. I'm not even looking at, down the line. I'm looking at tonight. And he needs to come out there and give me 6 innings, give me less than 3 runs, and shut the Marlins down. I don't care about strikeouts. I don't care about how he gets the outs. I don't care if it's hard hit balls as long as they're going into gloves. But he needs to get this done. Because if this guy goes out there and lays an egg, and he hasn't done it the last 2 starts, but if he goes out there and lays an egg, and we're coming back for game 3.
Oh, boy.
My anxiety level is going to be high. But I don't even think of this as a situation of, I got to perform because I'm a competitor and all that. Dude, your paycheck's on the line on this one. And you need to come out there and put your stamp of approval on this playoff round and just go boys, we're advancing, and have I don't even need a similar performance from Wheeler. If it's a 1B performance, I'm cool with that.
What if it's 16 outs, 5 1/3? Are you okay?
I need more. No, I need more than that.
Okay.
Now look,
what if it's pretty clean?
If it's 5 1/3, no runs.
I'm going to give you one earned run.
Okay, fine. I'm not thrilled about it, but I'll accept it because 1 earned run is your bullpen should be able to handle it. But I need you going out there and performing tonight. What I can't have happen is 4 2/3 innings, 4 earned runs, and 7 strikeouts, and Nola exits because he's been battling all night. I can't have that performance where the bats need to win you this game. The bats won you a game yesterday, but also your starting pitcher won you that game too. When your starting pitcher goes out there and all you needed was 2 runs to win the game, your starting pitcher showed up in a big moment. Your bats came alive for sure. Playing small ball was great, but you can't have a situation where we're entering this 6th and 7th inning going, damn, we're just going to have to outslug these guys because Nola crapped the bed again. So I'm pleading with him, who I doubt is listening. But
he's a big listener. Understand he loves this time.
I don't think my segments this season. If I were him, I would have tuned out. But he needs to perform tonight, and he doesn't need to just do it for the city and his teammates. He needs to do it for his future bank account.
I don't think he does.
You don't think he does?
What the hell do you mean he
doesn't?
What do you mean,
Bob? You're going Grog?
I think he's going to have a good first few 3, 4, maybe 5 innings.
Wow.
You're an idiot and you don't know baseball.
I think the lead's going to be one that it gets to. He's going to get to that. Boy, here comes Nola again. So when he leaves, I don't think his numbers are going to be that great.
Wow, okay.
5, 6, 3, maybe 4 earned runs. But I think the Phillies are raking tonight.
So you're thinking this is an over game, though?
It's going to be one of those, oh, man, I hope Nola doesn't start pitching bad because they have such a good lead for him.
Wow.
I really do. I really feel that.
It's scary you say that because it's so weird with me.
Are you feeling it?
When Aaron Nola gets, there's no more dangerous of a lead with Aaron Nola than a 5-0 lead.
Right?
It's so weird. And my anxiety level might be higher if they jump out to a giant lead. Not a lead. A
giant lead.
A big lead. Because we've seen, and look, he started the season like this, where they had a giant lead.
Yep.
And you were like,
against
boys,
Texas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you get a giant lead on this team, though, guys, this is the worst offense in the National League.
Yes.
If the Phillies put up 6, that it's an automatic win.
I would like to be right there with you, and I'm probably just being too Negadelphian with it. But
I don't think you are.
I got to be honest. If they jump out to a 5-0 lead, I'm weirdly going to be sitting there going, oh God! Please no rap 4th inning. Please no 4th inning.
I think you're going to get.
He just collapses, and I
you
don't.
threw the Toyota reference in there.
Because that's the inning where it just that's one of the reasons why I picked the 4th inning yesterday. But that's the inning where it all falls apart for him. If he can get through the second time of the lineup, I think he'll be pulled second time of the lineup. But if he can get through that, I think it'll go a long way. I know you say that it's not going to matter tonight. Maybe it won't.
Wow.
But I think for the fans and just our relief, if he can go out there and give a good performance going forward, it'll mean a lot. Because if he goes out there and does 4 2/3 and gives up 4 earned runs and they win the game, look, it's great. They advance. But the talking point is, okay, but this is an issue.
Yeah, I just feel it tonight.
Bob, this is bold.
I think he's going to have a good 4, maybe even 5. Like I said, they're going to have a really good lead, 5, maybe 6, something like that. And then he's going to start to give up a little bit, but they're going to have a quick hook on him. They're not going to allow him to give up 3, God forbid, get up to 4 and make this game close. I see the Phillies raking tonight. I see Nola pitching well early, and hopefully it holds on.
Okay, let's say Nola leaves after 4 2/3, like Pat was suspecting there. Who does Rob Thompson go to? Oh, wise one. Who do you think he would go to there?
I thought you could do Christopher Sanchez. You know, you could do that. They'll have a right-handed or a left-handed lineup as much as they can to go against Nola. So then you can bring in a left-hander there. You have pretty much everybody available except for Alvarado and Kimbrel.
Yeah.
So you got a plethora of people you could use there. A Strom you could go with also. Yeah, you'll be all right.
Hey, I know we're all right every time we talk to Tasty Cake Dom, who's on the line. And you're a big Aaron Nola man. You always have been.
He's my guy from day one. And John, I think he's got to give you 7 tonight. 7.
Aaron Nola is an ace. 7 innings. You're telling me he's going to give us 21 outs?
I'm not telling you he will. I'm saying he must. I'm saying if he's the pitcher that I think he is, he's got to go 7 and give less than 2 runs.
Okay, here, if I said to you right now, Aaron Nola gets 17 and a half outs tonight, over under, what's your gut instinct? That's almost 6 innings.
I think he's going to do it. If we get that last Nola that pitched against Pittsburgh, and I know obviously Marlins are a much better team, but if we get that guy, he's going to go 7.
But Dom, you say that, but the Pittsburgh offense was better than Miami's. I mean, that's one of the things, you know what I mean? Like we always talk about teams you play in the regular season. Well, they're not going to be around in the playoffs. This is the worst offensive team in the National League. I mean, if you put 6 runs up, you should win easily, actually.
John, you know the key to Nola is his change of that curve and that change of pace. If he can get that stuff working for him, he will dazzle them tonight. That's Nola.
So you have a bold Nola prediction. Bob predicts the offensive outburst. If you and Bob's predictions are together, we're having a party tomorrow morning.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Dom, I think he goes pretty good for 5, maybe 6, somewhere around there. I think the Phillies are going to rake a little bit tonight. He's going to get a big lead, and we know he's not that great when he gets the big lead, so he'll give up a few later on. But I agree with you. I think he's going to give you some good innings tonight.
Boy, I sure hope so.
Thanks, Dom.
And I'll be listening to you guys tomorrow morning.
We'll be
partying. Let's go. Let's do it. Tasty Cake Dom, always fun there. And a big Nola guy who has never wavered in his support of Aaron Nola.
Yeah. He's always been there with them.
From his words to God's radio. I hope it transpires.
All I can go back to is last October. And the start in Houston in October that clinched the division. The start against the Cardinals that Saturday night, which we were in Arizona for it was exquisite. And then the start against the Braves on that Friday afternoon. He put a trifecta up in 3 consecutive starts. So what does that span? That spans a 2-week period. And if he can give us a 2-week period beginning tonight, that'd be freaking awesome. So I got to tell you.
His last 3 games, Nola, 17 and a third inning combined, 17 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 17 strikeouts. It's a 2.60 ERA.
Not terrible at all.
So he's kind of rounding into a good form over the last 3 games.
I'm betting the over on the strikeouts. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, you like that with Nola, and you've been pretty spot on with it all year long.
It wins. It won around 70% of the time this year. How about that? You're winning 2 out of 3. Get on it with the Nola strikeouts tonight. I had both starting pitchers last night. The 5.5 and the 5, and the 6 for Wheeler, and they both hit it last night, which is great too. I want to quiz the boys though something about. It's Red October, and we're all over it. But we're always about Green October, too. And the 4-0 Eagles are not being forgotten during this amazing week. I'm going to quiz the guys next. I want them to come up with a team MVP that isn't Jake Elliott. He does not count. Plus, if you want to celebrate more of Red October with us, you're always welcome at 610-632-0975. John Kincade Show here on 97.5, The Fanatic. If you're really
A Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
PJ Wellahans has half-price wing nights every single Tuesday. But you have to sign up to PJ's Pub Club member to be able to take advantage of it, and it's so easy. Feel free to sign up at every PJ's or visit pjspub.com. It's easy to sign up. You're part of the Pub Club. Then you get all kinds of other little benefits, too, which is great from our friends at PJ's. You were there yesterday. Andrew had a spectacular broadcast.
Yes, he did.
And you were there for part of it. I heard Jen and Tyrone, too.
Right.
It sounded
Ricky
good.
was there also.
Andrew was going to try the cocktail.
He did. He
the
tried
Red October. What did he think of it?
They brought over two of them, one for him, one for me.
And?
I quickly slid mine over to him because I don't drink those things, and they were both gone before not too long. So I assume he liked it.
Well, I would think he liked it.
Yeah, he said it was phenomenal.
Pat, if they get to the next round, I heard Jim Friss is considering the Pat Egan Shirley Temple.
I mean, if he wants to win.
He does want to win. He didn't win as member because him and Joe sort of
we don't
didn't
talk about
perform
that
in the
moment.
clutch. But, I mean, it happens. Hey, Dr. Russ has been hanging on, wanting to talk about Aaron Nola. I think Pat's got some people fired up. Dr. Russ, good morning. How are you, buddy?
What's up, guys? John, I hope you're doing well, man. You're my prayers, brother.
Treatment 9 today, baby. So I'll be watching a little baseball and getting poisoned. I'll be all right. Thanks, man.
So, I got a feeling, man. Nola's up, right? He's not signed, so he's gonna bring it all. He's gonna bring it all. I think we could get 7 out of him, and I think he's gonna show us something. Because other people are looking at him. I mean, my simpleton mind here from Norristown. I think that he has eyes on him now, and maybe he just knuckles up and gives us what we think he is. I hope so. I got a feeling could have been what I ate last night, but it all that these guys are ready to roll, man.
What are you saying? Your simpleton mind from Norristown, Dr. Russ? I mean, your patients will get nervous hearing that.
They know me. They know who I am. There's no frills. But we'll see what happens. I think Nola's going to come pretty big time tonight. And
if I said to you, I gave the same number to Tasty Cake Dom earlier, 17.5 outs. So 15 2/3. You going over? 5 innings and 2/3. Are you going over or under?
I'm going to be ambitious. I'm going over. And you all got me on Twitter, so you can rip me if he doesn't. But
no, I like it.
I just think he's going to come with it. I think he has it tonight.
I love it. I love hearing that. Thanks, Doc.
Thank you very much, guys. You have a great day.
There you go, buddy.
You too, buddy. I do think you're going to get a good outing from him. I think the home, the fans, the 1-0 lead, a lot of that plays into his favor. If this was an away game, I wouldn't be as confident. But I think he's going to give you a good outing tonight. I like your number. I like the over also.
I think that's and you would also go the over? I think so. I'm going to go under, but I think it's going to be a good outing. I'm going to go, then he goes like 5 1/3 or 5 2/3 and then gets out. You're going to need more from your bullpen tonight. I'm just fascinated. Pat, I asked the question of Bob earlier. Who would you go to if he goes out he's going out in the 6th with like 1 out in the 6th. He's going out. Maybe there's a runner on base or something. Who are you going to? Who's the first up on the early guy out of the pen?
What's the score?
The Phillies are up by 1.
Okay. Where's the runner?
Runner's on first. Let's just say.
Okay. Bottom of the order or top of the order?
Let's just say it's the middle of the order.
Middle of the order.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's interesting.
So you're that specific.
Yeah, I think I would be,
even in the 6th inning.
Oh yeah.
You're
Absolutely.
going, and then do you maybe go to one of the lesser guys in the 7th?
So,
Somebody else puts out the fire, and then
I'm probably 1-0's really tough. I don't want to go to Dominguez. I don't want to go to Soto just because I think you're playing with fire there, but they are kind of established guys. I might go with Kerkering.
Wow.
It depends on the righty-lefty matchup, but right. I might go with the unknown as opposed to the dudes who whose ERAs are close to 5 in that tight spot. I mean, you used Hoffman last night. You used Alvarado last night. I mean, I might go with Kerkering there.
Oh, I'll tell you this. That would set this town on fire, Bob.
If it works.
If it's a big
or if it doesn't.
If it's a big situation, exactly. Either way, Kerkering could end up then being, okay, wait a minute. You used him in a you have a lead, but you could give up the lead. That would really set people into discussions.
Yeah, I think it is situational, and you have to handle it as such. If Nola starts to go a little haywire, like we've seen, it's like as you said, John, you're in the 6th and you have an out or so, and they have a few runs. Say it's 5-2 or something like that. Then I'm looking for a guy maybe to eat up time. So then it might be a Strom. It's not so much it might be a Strom. It could be, if you want to, a Sanchez, whatever, somebody to eat some innings. If it's a closer game, I'm looking to get out of the 6th with a pitcher. I'm looking to get through the 7th with one, the 8th with one, and then if you have to bring in Kimbrough, whoever, in the 9th, that's what I'm doing. But a bigger lead, I'm going to look towards the Stroms, maybe the Sanchezes.
Yeah, me too, probably. But I'm going with the unknown factor with Kerkering. But behind him, I probably would do Matt Strom.
You do Strom.
Same thing, though. I just worry about you playing with fire. But I have more confidence in Strom than Sir Anthony. But I'd probably wait on Strom in the 7th. And then in the 8th, I'm figuring out, at that point where the game's
Alvarado
at.
can go again.
He can, yeah. I mean,
Kimbrough can go again.
Yeah, you've got a day off tomorrow.
But you don't have a day off tomorrow unless they win.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'm not thinking
right,
about
exactly.
losing.
You have to. Rob Thompson has to manage like he's winning.
Yeah,
and that's the way it's got to be. Hey, okay, so I asked this question before, and I welcome people to join us on the phone lines if they want to join the conversation at 610-632-0975. I challenge Bob and Pat 4 games in to the Eagles season. And yes, I realize they're 4-0. Who's the team MVP that isn't Jake Elliott based on 4 games of performance? I have one answer. I think it's pretty obvious, but I wondered if it's the same answer that you two would put down. The team MVP through 4 games, you're not allowed to pick the kicker, who has been absolutely spectacular, and you've come used to that. Who's your guy?
Wow. It's kind of among 3 for me.
Oh, it's among 3. Okay. Give it thought process. Give me a thought process.
Well, I don't want to name all 3 because I don't want to take Pat. So I'll go with
that a guy.
And it's weird. The first guy that comes to my mind didn't play the first game, so I can't really go with him. I'm going to go A.J. Brown.
Pat?
I'm going to go with the guy that didn't play first game.
Yeah.
Are you?
I'm going with DeAndre Swift.
Well, Bobby, there it is. A.J. Brown, me too. And again, just because of the fact that DeAndre Swift, I think, has gotten lost in 1.5 games. Now, he's not lost. His backside's on the sideline wanting to play. But the offensive coordinator just goes, nah, we've seen enough. We don't need him. Oh, I maybe forgot we had this incredible weapon. It's like driving your beat-up 72 Datsun instead of taking the shiny new car you've got from David Auto in your garage. You forgot that you had it. It is interesting because I don't know where you go. I want to know who your third name is, Bob.
I was thinking of somebody on the defensive side of the ball. Could you go Jalen Carter?
Well, he's the highest-ranked
defensive lineman in football,
right now. So, I mean, you could do that. I don't think there's been...
But the defense hasn't performed well enough to say that. I mean, you're talking through 4 games. A.J. Brown has over 400 yards and 30 receptions.
It's got to be him. It's got to be A.J. Brown,
that's
right?
Pretty good.
Pat, I mean, it's got to be A.J., right?
No,
okay.
It doesn't have to be A.J.
Well, we're going to bully you into it.
Swift. You guys can bully me all you want, all right? You don't want it.
We're going to.
You don't want to back up a bullet shrimp in a corner. You won't like the outcome. I'm going with DeAndre Swift because unlike A.J. Brown, who is replacing A.J. Brown, DeAndre Swift's replacing a 1,300-yard rusher, and he was an unknown coming in. And a lot of people had hope for him and all that, but the reality is in Detroit,
Nobody
he was a change of pace back.
Right.
And he was traded for a mid-round pick. And he was in the last year of his deal, and there's a reason why Detroit drafted his replacement, because they didn't think he could do what he's doing in Philadelphia. For him to replace a 1,300-yard back the way he has, and to at least give me faith in this run game in some form or fashion, which I did not have because I came into this season going, they don't have a number one running back. They have a bunch of question marks. Rashad Penny, Kenny Gainwell, DeAndre Swift, bunch of question marks. He solidified himself as a number one back in this league. That's why I'm going with him. The defense rests.
He makes an impassioned.
Yeah, he's impassioned. He's wrong, but he's impassioned.
You're
That's
a
cool.
jackass.
No, I'm kidding. It's funny.
Love you, Bobby.
Just looking at A.J. Brown's numbers, he's
It
on
sounds
pace.
like it, Pat.
He's on pace for like 120. Now it's 4 games. I know it's 4 games. It's 120 catches, like 1,700 yards. That's kind of sick.
It is sick.
In a passing game that hasn't really hit their stride yet.
And remember, he had the game where he was complaining that he was not enough a part of the offense.
Yes, he did.
I mean, so if you look at it that way, you're like, wait a minute, wait. That can't be.
Pat, do you know what his real first name is?
No.
I'm going to go Andre.
Arthur Juan.
Arthur Juan?
Yeah. How about that?
The more you know. You learn stuff on this show.
You do.
You really do.
Yeah.
What do you say, Arthur Juan?
Arthur Juan.
That's his
Interesting.
name.
I did not know that.
Yep.
What is JT's name?
Jacob Tyler.
Very good, Pat.
What's T.J. McCollum's name?
Thomas James.
Don't know that one.
Timothy James, I believe.
Timothy James?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
it's
Well,
Timothy.
you can't say you don't know.
Timothy John, I believe.
Timothy John.
Yeah.
So you can take care of that, which is great one there. I just look at it this way: is this a good problem or a bad problem? Is it a good problem or a bad problem that we can't name an MVP after 4 games? Does that mean that they're 4-0, they haven't played their best, there's more balance going on, or I don't know how to look at it. All I know is I'm glad that they're sitting there with the 49ers atop the NFC and not sitting there like Dallas or Detroit with already a loss. So to me, and a conference loss too, by the way.
Yeah. Interesting question. Does it matter? I don't think so. I've never been into the MVP type of thing and all of that stuff, but I know where you're carrying it to, and it's an interesting question. Should there be? Should Jalen Hurts be the unequivocal, whatever, best player on this team right now through 4 games? You probably would have hoped so.
No, he should be. He was an MVP candidate last year.
Yeah, but the fact that he's not and they're still 4-0, is that a good thing?
I think it's impressive that they find a way to win, and I think the winner mentality that Jalen Hurts has helps this team in a big, big way. But I do also believe that I'm tired of hearing about the main things, the real thing, and all that as the fortune cookies, Pat, as you clearly put it. I'm tired of hearing that. I thought last Sunday was going to be the coming out party. That was going to be it. They're going to show up on Sunday and they were going to make every single thing just all of our fears would be put aside.
You know, in a weird way, I think this is a good thing.
Okay, tell me why.
Look, it's a bad thing in the sense of you had to take out Jake Elliott because our answers all would have been Jake Elliott.
Right.
That's a bad thing.
He's
When
been
your
amazing.
kicker's your MVP, not great. But I think it's a good thing because we can't really name an MVP besides him. Or at least we struggle to come to a consensus. Yet, they are 4-0. And I think in most situations, if you tell me, hey, your kicker is your MVP, who's the second guy? And everybody kind of goes, I don't really know. I don't really have one. I don't think there's a lot of instances where that happens and the team's 4-0.
90 yards a game for DeAndre Swift rushing right now. 91, in fact, on average. That's pretty awesome. As you said, Bob, A.J. Brown, 103 yards a game. That's pretty awesome. But here's a number that bothers me. They have 1 interception with the leader in team interceptions is Darius Slay with 1.
Blankenship got 1 also. Didn't
Yeah, but it's 1. But he's the leader, is what they got on the board. I expect this team to be picking people off more. I expect them to be turning the ball over more. And that was a big part of last year's success. I want this team turning people over. And we're not seeing, at least early on, we're not seeing it.
Well, they're not getting to the quarterback at the pace that they did last year. Teams are throwing underneath because they're taking advantage of the linebackers. Corners, I guess, don't want to take chances all that much because you're not positive about your safety play. The first 3 games, turnovers were key, were big. They really came into play. Last game, not so much, right? Washington have any turnovers?
I don't think they did. Did they, Pat? I don't remember a turnover on Sunday.
They were key. And the Eagles didn't turn the ball over last week either, which was good. So, you need playmakers to get those turnovers. And when you don't have ace linebackers or ace safeties, it limits your playmakers defensively, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Especially going after the ball.
Hey, Pat, I invited the general manager of the Rams, who's been a longtime friend, Les Snead, to come on.
F them picks.
And I said, now, we're coming to take over your stadium on Sunday, which sort of may have not gone along with the invitation well, but I'll show you the picture later. He sends me an emoji of 4 green dots, 1 blue dot, 4 green dots. And he said, I think I'll come on your show sometime when we're not playing the Eagles. He said, when I'm a little less outnumbered.
I think. Sorry, Les.
I think he's making the right call, though. They doesn't want to.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think
Howie Roseman is going on L.A. radio this week. You know what I mean? You're asking the architect to do this and to come
probably not. I don't know how much of a downside there is to it.
He knows that the takeover's coming.
Well, yeah, they all do. I mean, like the Rams.
They know
it. I think Sean McVay is probably telling the players, like, we have to be ready for this. And there's a chance that they're practicing with sound this week because you're usually not used to having to deal with the crowd volume on offense at home.
They're going to practice silent count.
Yeah,
they're going to practice silent count because they know.
They're aware.
They know the Eagles fans.
Right?
Look, I mean, they just moved to
Philly
LA.
Sports Trips is going to kill them.
Yeah, they moved to LA a couple years ago. They don't have a fan base there, and LA's full of transplants. I mean, Philly Sports Trips that trip is sold out to take a bunch of fans out there and take over that stadium.
They leave tomorrow.
Yeah, we saw it happen in Tampa, where we're looking around like this is absolutely crazy.
How bad? I mean,
it's going to happen in LA.
How much of an impact it really was in Tampa? You felt it, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Dude, the fact that sorry to cut you off.
Right.
The fact that I'm going to the bathroom and the crowd is going nuts to a play, and I don't know if it was a pro Eagles play or Bucks play. I thought was awesome.
That is awesome.
Because normally it's like, oh, geez, the crowd's going nuts. We're away. All right, well, the Buccaneers must have done something right. I had no idea. And there was a late run by DeAndre Swift in the third or fourth quarter. He busted a really, really good run.
It's the 26-yard run.
The crowd went nuts. Where do you hear that? That's just something the home team's probably not accustomed to.
9 o'clock hour is brought to you by the Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. And for details, go to Bagster.com. But Bob wanted to talk about something that there's more than just skill that's needed if you want to have a successful baseball team. And I think we've got one in town.
Now, let's see what's in Cooney's corner.
Yeah, and it's something that we hit on earlier. And it's you can kind of roll your eyes at it. You can't really put your hands around it. But I think it's something that's really there with this Phillies team. And, John, you brought it up earlier. Christian Pache starts in left field last night, somewhere that Brandon Marsh has probably been thinking about all year. Can't wait to get to the playoffs again with this team. I'm a starting outfielder for this team, whether it's center field or left field. Here comes the playoffs, and I'm on the bench. And you're kind of like, all right, he's part of the, what do they call it, the kid? The daycare. He's part of the daycare group, and he's out there all the time pouring things on everybody and a team guy. And he gets sat in the first playoff game. That's got to suck a little bit. It's got to hurt. You want to be out there. You want to be in front of the fans. And they show him, and there's nobody on the bench cheering more when Christian Pache gets a single up the middle than him and going crazy. And he was in an interview last week, and he said, yeah, in Rojas we trust. Or, it's like, wait, what? These guys are taking your spot, and you're cool with it. And then they show he goes into the game later when there's a right-handed pitcher. Pache comes out. They show Pache on the bench, and he's smiling and screaming and going crazy when Brandon Marsh is up at bat. It's weird. It's little. It might be minute. I don't think it is with this team. I think it's big. I think it's part of what makes them them. I think it's part of we'll go through the regular season and watch out once we get to the playoff type of mentality that they have. I just think it's real with this team. I really do. And it's something that it's going to make this even more fun to watch.
I love it that they've got that. Alec Boehm needs a sedative on the bench. He's going nuts. He's banging.
He's all beamed up.
He's so much fun.
Oh, Reese Hoskins was dancing so much that Donna said to me, she goes, you think he's drunk?
Well,
I'm like,
well,
nah,
he wasn't
you know,
playing, so I mean, he could.
No,
do
yeah,
that.
but I mean, did you see him? He's dancing and like
was great.
nonstop, and of course you got what's his face, Stubbs in there.
Oh, Garrett
who's
Stubbs
probably
is
the
such
leader of the group.
Yeah, such a spark plug glue guy. We talk about a lot of in sports about chemistry, and in some sports I go like, look, it doesn't matter. You've had teams hate each other, and they end up winning. In baseball, though, I feel like chemistry is probably the sport that it means the most because you're just stuck with these guys for so long, and baseball is such a long season and a grind. I don't know about you guys. I get the sense that this team really loves each other. Like, they really get along. There's a good clubhouse. It's no longer Carlos Santana bashing TVs with baseball bats because guys are checked out. Like, this is a team that is absolutely dialed in. They got a taste last season, and they want to finish the job. And I think it's a prime example. Like, Brandon Marsh knows he's going to play. He knows he's going to play at some point, right? It wasn't like he got Wally pipped.
Probably ain't today.
But it maybe not.
Not again, right?
Maybe not. But it's a credit to Rob Thompson, and the broadcast brought it up, and I thought it was a really good point. It was a credit to Rob Thompson because there's no doubt in my mind that he let Brandon Marsh know, hey, you're out of the lineup. This is the reason why. But when they throw in a righty, we're going to get you in there. And you're getting him in, by the way, at left field, which he was a Gold Glove finalist in the American League as a left fielder. So it's like, okay, you're taking a dip down a little bit in the glove because I do think Pache's a better fielder, but it's not so drastic where it's like he's a butcher out there. He's a pretty damn good left fielder. So yeah, it's I don't think it's a little thing, Bob. I think it's a big thing.
And I got to give Rob Thompson credit too. Because the boss creates the atmosphere that everybody works in.
Probably, yeah.
And he obviously creates an atmosphere that his players love playing for him. There's no question about that.
And Marsh is going to be on the bench again tonight. And I can't imagine you're throwing him out there against a left-hander tonight.
But as you said, he probably had communication where he knew that he would get in the game when a right-hander got him.
Agree.
All right, I got to ask you guys something else. All right, this is on a different topic, but it's still about the Phillies. If the Phillies were in the Braves' position, all right? So the Phillies win the division. The Braves are playing right now. So switch the two-team situations. And Rob Thompson decided to play simulated games at Citizens Bank Park, and it was free admission. All you had to do was go online to Phillies.com and get a ticket to play a simulated game and watch it. How many fans do you think would show up at Citizens Bank Park? Now, it's during the daytime.
Yeah.
Sun shines out. If I set the number at 15,000, you think it'd be bigger or smaller? Simulated game, free tickets. You get to come and you get to watch the players play against each other.
I think it would be around 15.
Around 15 grand. What do you think?
I think a lot of fans would bring their kids out and stuff, and it would also be like a show of support.
It's tough. You're talking a day game, too?
Day game. Yeah, it's day.
Tough. With
it'd be like yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, with school, it's tough. Work.
It's tough, but like
people would make it happen. This is Philly. My God, 15 to 20. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I go 15, around 15, just because the day game part is tough.
Right.
But a lot of fans would look at this as their opportunity to, not see playoff
to watch Max
baseball.
Fried throw. Max Fried threw 5 innings yesterday.
Yeah, it's free. I can take my kid down, see the team, and cheer them on before they go off to the playoffs. I mean, if you can't afford playoff baseball, you get the Wish.com version of it for free.
I don't think there was 2,000 people there. I kept that from you. I don't think there was 2,000 people in the stands. And it was like everybody was in Atlanta yesterday. They did a simulated game. Max Fried pitched 5 innings in the simulated game. They were along the first base line. They had the fans seated along the first base line. I don't think there were 3 sections that were packed of all the people. And to me, I just think if they did that in Philly, the day game makes it tough, playing it.
Yeah.
And it's a simulated game. You're really watching a workout.
Yeah, but Philly, there'd be tailgating.
I guarantee you there would be.
Now, my sister lives down in Baltimore, my sister and brother-in-law, and the Orioles are having batting practice and a little bit more than just batting practice. And they're going down to Camden Yards to watch that today. And she said they expect a really good crowd. Now, really good could mean 8, 10, 12,000, whatever. But
that'd be great.
That's cool.
I mean, it's a great moment, but it shows you too, Pat. Brian Snicker said last year, whatever we did, we weren't ready for what the Phillies brought in. They could have won both games in Atlanta if it wasn't for Rhys Hoskins at first base. They could have gone 2-0. So this year they're playing simulated games and bringing in fans and trying to do things differently because they know the Phillies are coming if they win that series.
I mean, look, they only brought in 2,000 fans, but those fans are real loud and rowdy.
They were loud and rowdy?
So they're ready. I mean, they're absolutely ready. It's like, I understand. What else is he supposed to do? Like, he's got to try to prepare. But trying to prepare for Citizens Bank Park in October and trying to recreate that with a day simulated game.
Well, I think they're just trying to stay fresh with players, right?
It is, but it's similar to like trying to prepare for Jalen Hurts by throwing Marcus Mariota out there. Like, you can't do it. So I don't. They can sit there and try to stay fresh and all that, but I think ultimately what's going to end up having an effect is most of those players are prepared for it mentally because they experienced it last year.
I think it came in, by the way, the final poll from my old radio station came in like 88 or 89% that people wanted the Marlins.
Well, of course.
But that's a good dose of respect.
I don't think it's a respect, though. I think the Marlins are the lower seeded team. I'd want the lower seed. I don't want to care about the what happened last year.
See, I think it's PTSD.
I'd want the lower seeded team no matter what.
Yeah, well, baseball doesn't believe in that concept.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
I got you. PTSD, though, I think plays into it a lot. I think they remember that bat spike. I think they remember.
Tell you, if I'm the Braves, I'm not really afraid of anybody all that much to how good my team is. So if you throw me that, I'll say, yeah, give me the lower seeded team. Yeah, the Braves are good.
They're really good.
Yeah.
But if that's a split in Atlanta, the series ain't going back. It's not going back. PTSD steps in, expectations set in, and I like what the Phillies are bringing to the table. But you got to win game 2 before you advance to that. You need a second win in this series. And coming up, Bob said a little bit about the lineup. He talked about it yesterday before the game, but now he wants to talk about it after the game and how this team is being put together and run. We'll talk about it. And if you want to share in some of the Red October mania, we've had a lot of people checking in today at 610-632-0975. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Reminder that First Friday comes your way Friday. And you have a chance to be in the audience.
Yeah, come say hi.
Got to go to 975thefanatic.com and sign up because there is a limited number of spaces that are available. Red Robin's bringing breakfast. Well, it's really like lunch. And on the bottomless fries.
They're bringing food.
Bottomless fries is just that's they got me at bottomless fries.
They
got me at red.
It's one of the things that has not been affected by the chemo. The taste of food. Earlier, I'm going up to Bob and one of our sales guys, Bill, and to Ray Dunn. I'm saying, here, taste my Cheez-Its. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, do they taste different to you? Because I love Cheez-Its. If I would have one snack, one chip, whatever, I love Cheez-Its a lot. And they taste like really off just because of what I'm going through. And the guys are like, nah, Bob said maybe a little less salty. I don't know. But that was, it's just some things are a little distorted. So I'm looking forward to things going back to normal.
Yeah. Normal's good for some people, yeah.
As normal for me, though, may not be as normal as somebody else.
You said it, not me.
44 days, by the way, and I thank everybody reaching out this morning. 9th treatment today, and 44 more days to the finish line. So I just got to be really careful and really smart. Yesterday afternoon, Bob brought something up on the show yesterday. And then in yesterday afternoon, Twitter was all abuzz trying to figure out what would be the Phillies starting lineup. Very few got it correct if you're talking about going 1-9. And I saw a lot of people guessing. But Bob wants to talk about that and the impact that may mean on this team sort of going forward.
Now, let's see what's in Cooney's corner.
Yeah, so what do you think of that? Like, we were sitting here yesterday, and we said, all right, yeah, we know the first three are fine. You go Schwarber, Turner, Harper. And then who are you going to have cleaning up and all that stuff? And we went back and forth, lefty, righty, and we didn't know whether Pache was going to start or not, but we kind of talked ourselves into it and all that. Yeah, the one thing that we were positive about was Schwarber, Turner, Harper.
Nope.
That's
the only thing we all agreed on.
Yeah. And then they come out and they go, no, Schwarber, Turner, boom, Harper.
Vinny Gallo had pointed that out to us, though, to be on the lookout
Vinny Gallo was on top of things. And when Andrew and I were doing the pre, maybe Vinny had it exactly right. I'm not sure. Maybe just one off. But so they come out with a lineup. You got Bohm batting third. They put Harper fourth, Realmuto fifth, and Castellanos sixth. So Castellanos has been probably – now you still have a 7-hole hitter as good as Bryson Stott, which I absolutely love. But we didn't know the lineup. We all guessed the lineup. We all got it wrong. People that, came into us and tweeted us or whatever, they all got it wrong. We didn't know if Pache was going to start or not. He does. Now, tonight you don't know if – is it going to be Weston Wilson? I can't imagine. I would assume it's going to be Pache
better
again.
Not be, I hope.
I would assume it's going to be pretty much the same order. But the normal part of me would say, and John, you've brought this up a lot, that Charlie Manuel come in and boom, the lineup's on the board and you pretty much know what it is every day. Do you like it more that there's there's this versatility to this lineup that Rob Thompson has? Or would you prefer that there'd be a stick to it, let the guys know where they are every game?
Well, when I hear him talk about the fact that it's important that people in his lineup are comfortable. He doesn't make his pitching staff comfortable, but I don't understand why he doesn't make, I would hope that you would make everybody comfortable, not just Kyle Schwarber. So to me, yes, I would like more comfortability, but I would also tell you, Bob, that for me to question what he's done sounds a little foolish because he's really got a good handle on it, and I have to give him credit for that. So I feel like it's foolish to critique the way he's doing things because obviously his team seems okay with it. But I was surprised. And yes, I think Vinny was the only one who got it right yesterday.
Now, the stability of it is this. The stability of it is 8 of your 9 starters are going to be set in stone pretty much through the playoffs, I think. I think Rojas is your starting center fielder.
I do, too, and he better be.
Bar
he should
none,
be.
boom, yeah, he's there. So now it's going to be a lefty-righty thing with left field between Pache and Marsh. But I wonder if there's going to be a time where Harper goes back to 3, Bohm goes to 4, Castellanos hits above Real Muto. Is Stott someone that you move up in the lineup if either Real Muto or Castellanos start to dip a little bit? Pat, do you like the versatility of the lineup more than just the J-Roll, Utley, Howard days of here it is and it's going to roll out 6 of the 7 days?
I don't. Personally, because that was the team that I saw have the most success, and they knew where they were hitting the lineup. I've gone my rants about Schwarber being comfortable in the leadoff spot, hitting there, but I'm not a huge fan of it. But I do think this lineup is so deep that, as you guys talked about, like you have Stott hitting 7th. As long as the players are cool with it, I guess it's hard to complain. And
yeah,
we brought up the reaction of the players. They're hanging on every pitch just like the fans are. They're all up there and at any time anyone gets a hit, they go nuts. And, Brandon Marsh is a good example of that. So as long as they're okay with it, you don't have any Kurt Schillings with their head in a towel. How can I complain about it? It's not really affecting me too much. I'm a fan. It's affecting the players more. And if they're okay with it, then I have to be okay with it.
Do you notice, Bob, by the way, that they don't show the Marlins dugout the way they show the Phillies?
Because they're all sad.
Like the Marlins get a hit. They don't have like the sort of Animal House going on along the railing the way the Phillies do. They don't show it.
I didn't think of it. It's interesting.
They didn't have many hits last night.
No,
they
only had
that.
7, I think.
So there wasn't a ton to celebrate.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think Jazz Chisholm had a hit and he did a little thing.
He's my least favorite Marlin.
I like him. I think he's a little overrated.
I'd love him. No, I'd probably love him if he was a Philly, probably. But I wouldn't take him above Rojas.
Man, Arise is really hurting, isn't he?
And that looks terrible.
Yeah, and that's bad for them. You're talking a great hitter, and even if he gets on base, he's pretty much deemed ineffective.
He's still faster. He's still faster than Schwarber.
Can't get around at all. It's just that's a huge advantage for the Phillies. The only thing that I was a little surprised at once we all talked over the Pache thing and agreed he was probably going to be in the lineup was that Harper was indeed hitting 4th. But it goes to Rob Thompson's obsession with them throwing out a left-handed hitter. He wanted to get 2 righties up in that first inning. He wanted 2 of his first 3 hitters to be righties, and that's why he moved Bohm up there into 3. I would imagine that you're going to get the same exact lineup tonight, right, to start the game?
I would think so. I don't think after a win you would.
I don't think anything changed. What about you, Pat? You think?
I don't know why you would.
Yeah.
But would I be shocked?
No, you wouldn't be shocked.
No, I wouldn't be shocked, but I would keep it the same.
Why would he? If he did change it up, what would be the mentality?
Matchups.
What?
Like matchups.
Like if a guy something as a record. Okay, good.
Yeah,
good job.
But that's about it. And I think only then would it be really left field, center field would be affected.
Yes.
Because other than that, you're not changing any other positions in left field. Meaning, like, does Schwarber play the field? Does he play DH? Who plays center? Who plays left?
Right.
I'd be shocked if Weston Wilson plays any at all.
I'm not going to be happy if he does.
But I just, you can't go numbers on him. He's had like 5 career at bats. So, but that's the only thing, and I think it's only going to affect two positions.
Yeah, I wonder if, like, say Harper has better numbers against Garrett than, say, Bohm does. Maybe do you go Harper 3, Bohm 4? Real Muto, Castellanos. Probably interchangeable if you want, if there's better numbers. That's the goodness of this lineup, I guess, is you can look at that and what Pat said, as long as the players are okay with it, I do what you want.
Exactly. And they're winning.
Yeah.
I got a few questions for you other than that, though, too, that I want to run by you. Do you expect in this year's playoffs that JT Real Muto is going to end up being a positive factor at the plate?
I think he'll come up more clutch in clutch times than he doesn't. So
okay, so you do think he's going to have some? You think he's going to have some big moments that really help this team? He did last year.
Yeah,
certainly did.
Yeah,
he didn't seem like the same player to me. And at the plate, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't have confidence right now, Pat. If I said to you, JT is going to have like some big moments at the plate, he's really going to come through when they need him in the clutch. Are you confident?
1 or 2, but not overly. I don't think it's going to be a consistent thing with him. But, yeah, I could see him having 1 or 2 moments. I brought this up mid-season, but I do worry about the workload on this guy. He has played the most innings behind the plate the last 3 years. And Rob Thompson came in, and I thought it'd go down a little bit, and you would see JT more at first base, especially this year. And you didn't see it at all.
I think I heard it was on NBC Sports Philadelphia. I don't remember who said it. But the idea that he was a guy, though, Bob, that's going to go into Rob Thompson's office and say, I want to play. I want to play. I want to play. But I wish that there was another place he could play. Like, if Bryce Harper becomes the first baseman for this team, then you either have JT Realmuto as designated hitter on one day or catcher. I think that then is going to break the wheels off him even more than they already have with the amount of workload. If they're saying, I believe last night with Rhys Hoskins, I believe that was the goodbye. I think that they know he's not coming back because they've made over and over again, Eduardo Perez and Carl Ravitch and David Cohn, that the Phillies are moving forward with Bryce Harper as their first baseman. One of the reasons being is that Bryce Harper is better than Rhys Hoskins in the field by a mile. Like he stepped to it immediately and he plays the position better. Just
I don't know
walking
if it's by a mile.
I
mean, I think he's very good for just having picked it up this season, but I wouldn't go so far as say he's better by a mile.
Well, he cost you a game in each series last year.
Yeah, I remember.
I mean, I don't think Bryce. Do you think Bryce Harper will? I don't.
I don't know. I mean, as some of those ground balls, he doesn't look overly comfortable grounding, fielding them.
Does he make the play?
I
we
don't know. I mean,
like last night, do you blame him or do you blame Wheeler? I blame Wheeler on that play.
I blame Wheeler, but going into let's see what happens in the full season. Like, I'm not bashing Bryce, but I think he's done a really, really, really good job of picking up a new position mid-season. But I'm not ready to say just because a guy had bad errors in the World Series and
the NLTS and the NLCS.
Okay,
I mean, it was a big trend. I mean, he was the only guy who gave away games defensively, except Marsh in that Game 5 we were at. That was just that first inning was terrible.
Yeah,
terrible.
I don't know. I'm just not ready to say it.
You don't believe do you believe there's any chance he's coming back, Bob?
Well, you're kind of starting to get a logjam, and the logjam mostly is in the outfield. And you relieve some of it by taking Harper out of the outfield and throwing him at first base. You still have to look at Crawford coming up. You still, there's different things. The growth of Rojas, Castellanos and Schwarber are those guys coming back? Are they not? There's so many fluid things in all this, but I'd be hard pressed to say I thought Hoskins would be back.
Do you think Castellanos and Schwarber are here next year?
Yes,
both of them.
I think so. Yeah.
Do you think they're both going to be back again? Then you need Schwarber to be the DH. 6 out of 7 games. So then that clogs up your DH position too, because you can't. In the field, he's terrible in the field.
Yeah, he is. But I mean, you can hide him out. You can throw him out there. Can't
hide him, unfortunately.
No, but you have that luxury. I don't think you're tied down that he can still play the outfield a little bit. You can still throw him out there. Now the problem is, if he's out there 2 days a week or 2 every 10 days, he's not going to get better at it. Because he's not playing it. So then you have to worry about that. But they're starting to get into a log jam with all the outfielders that they have. It does make you believe that, okay, you got to throw Rhys over to first base.
How much better do you feel, though, Pat, knowing that they've got youngsters? Like, to me, it appears now the entire fan base is like Rojas is our center fielder moving forward. That seems like that's the assumption.
Yeah, great problem to have. If you have expendable guys, and that said probably a couple months ago, I think Brandon Marsh is going to end up being, and not next season, but end up being eventually the expendable guy. His arbitration number is going to be up before Rojas is. You're going to have to pay him more money. And I think a full season in the major leagues is going to do Rojas a world of good, and you're going to see he actually, extend that gap between him and Marsh. And then maybe you can dump off Marsh for a reliever or a starting pitcher, because they're going to need starting pitching next season too. But it's a very, very good problem to have. And you finally are starting to see the changes they made in the scouting department a couple of years ago. It's finally starting to bear fruit. Not that Rojas was one of those guys, because he was a Matt Klentak guy, but you're starting to see with like a J.P. Crawford coming through the system, a Marion Boyd coming through the system. Like, there's a lot of guys coming through that you go, okay, like there's some talent here, and yeah, in a couple of years, you're gonna have to make some tough decisions.
I think the Rojas move, though, late in the season, the Kirkering move, to me, screams that there is a change in mentality also from Dave Dombrowski.
Could be. Get these guys up here and throw them in.
Faster. Get them in faster. Throw them in the pool. That's how I was taught to swim that way, which I think is sort of child abuse. Throw a kid into a pool and say, splash around and learn how to, keep yourself up, move to the side. It seems like there's a change in mentality.
Well, it'll
which
be
I like seeing.
Yeah, and maybe that comes into play with the NOLA stuff too. Do you throw in an Abel next year and just say, here, go have at it? And some of the younger pitchers that they have, of course, Painter with the injury is going to be a couple years away. But if there was a change in mentality, the guys that they're throwing into the fire, so to speak, are proving to be good commodities in the Rojas's, in the Kirkring, and the little sampling we've seen so far.
Hey, a girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Why don't you reach out and change their world, because it'll help change yours. Go to unbound.org. That's unbound.org. Your Birds, 5.5-point favorites on Sunday at Los Angeles. And, Bob, you've been talking about the fact is they're looking less at opponents and looking more inward on this Eagles team. And this Rams club, they don't appear like ultra, dangerous to me.
No. They had the natural fall off after the Super Bowl, right? They bought in everything.
Bought in everybody,
bought in everything to win that Super Bowl. Stafford has kind of come back to reality, dealing with the hip now.
I wonder about that.
Yeah, well, they said he'll be good to go as, what's today, Wednesday?
Yes.
I think Tuesday, yesterday, coaches said over there that they think he'll be good to go. But he took a good shot on there again. That's tough. Dealing with a hip, man, that's tough for a quarterback with your torque coming out of a snap, if you are doing that, if it's all shotgun. But whatever it is, your footwork is affected. I think it's going to be a tough game. I mean, that's L.A., you're still going out there.
Is it sleepy? You think a little bit of the sleepiness from the crowd and everything?
But Eagles fans will be there. Yeah. I would be more worried about this game. This is going to sound so odd. This is how dumb I am. I would be more worried about this game had the Eagles been playing on all cylinders 4-0.
Okay.
Than a team that's still trying to find themselves.
So you think
4-0.
Nick's got their attention this week?
I think they have their own attention. I don't think you need a coach to tell you, hey, what's going on here? We're not playing well. I think the Jason Keltys, the Jalen Hurts, the players on this team are sitting back and going, man, we're not clicking yet, guys. We're just not there yet. It's not a secret. They don't need a coach to tell them. They don't need media to tell them or talk about it. They know it. They're the ones experiencing it. You know what it's like. We all know what it's like. When you're playing in a game, you can tell whether you and or your team has it or not that day.
That day
they
is
haven't
an
felt
off
it
day,
yet.
right.
So they're still looking for themselves to find it. I kind of like being in that spot. I like watching a team being in that spot, going away, trying to win a game on the road. There's not going to be anything taken for granted, I don't think.
Pat, you have that same feeling as Bob, that this would be a game that maybe you'd be more worried about if they had played really well?
No.
So you don't?
No, if they had played really well, I wouldn't be worried about this game. If they had played really well, I'd be feeling good about this game. I'd be feeling good.
Yeah, I don't.
There's no sugarcoating it for me. I mean, I feel like they're gonna win this game because of all the injuries, and look, Stafford's dealt with some injuries in his career, and you wonder how much that's gonna affect them. Hopefully, Cooper Kupp won't be back, but
that seems optimistic. By the way, the idea of him coming back, that they may bring, he could be back, but hopefully they say he could be back. Hopefully not. I don't want to see him.
I think ultimately the Eagles win, but no, I don't feel like uber confident. I'm not going in and changing, the line in my betting app. I'm not sitting there doing alternative line and bumping it up. Let's say Eagles are -6. I'm not bumping it up to -9. I think it's going to be another game where we sweat it out, because that's what I've gotten this season, is games where we sweat it out. And I would just like, once this season, I just can kind of kick back and go yep, there they are.
Well, you did have a Lego game. You did have one Lego game.
I couldn't play with the Legos. I
were at the game.
I was at the game. Did
they frisk you for Legos?
They didn't.
They didn't. See, you could have smuggled some in.
There's I don't know if either of you guys have watched the Kelsey doc on Amazon.
I have not yet.
I haven't yet. I know I have to.
Really good. It just sucks, the ending. But there's a hilarious scene with Jason Kelsey's wife while she's watching the Detroit game. And it's the most Philadelphia thing of all time because she's watching the game, Detroit scores, and she goes, just one effing time. Can we just have a nice, easy game where we just dominate it? And, it's funny because that happened for the majority of the season moving forward. But I'm like, yeah, that's how I feel most of the time. It's like, you're right, John. I did have a Lego game. I did have an easy game.
Second
and it was
half,
Tampa
the
Bay,
fourth
and it was
quarter,
3 weeks in. But I'm still sitting here going acting like it never happens. It does happen. I'm not confident it's going to happen this week.
I had 3 friends' wives that saw the Kelsey documentary. They all have the same thing to say about it, Pat. I have not seen it yet. One of the first things that they said has nothing to do with football about the Kelsey documentary. Do you have any idea what these wives said? Well, first of all, they all said that Mrs. Kelsey's beautiful.
Yeah.
They thought she is just absolutely a beautiful girl, like a natural beauty.
Yeah. Give me her over Taylor Swift any day of the week.
No.
No lie, she's way cooler. I'd rather hang out with her.
Oh,
she
yeah.
gets our fan base. The best part of that documentary was when she said, if Jason played for another team, I'd wear something that said Kelsey. I'm not wearing another team's jersey.
I love that.
She gets the loyalty. I don't know, though. What did I'm trying to think. Well, his daughters were adorable. They were cute. The way he handled losing the Super Bowl, I found really interesting.
He can't sing.
Well, no, what they said was that the house was a mess. All 3 of them.
You know what?
At some point they went, oh, my God, their house was such a mess.
I didn't think it was a mess, but that's probably because my house is a mess.
They thought it was a mess.
And
I'm like, wait a minute. I said, that's what you took away?
2 little kids, right?
They have 2 toddlers, and she's pregnant with a third. All right,
come on. What is she supposed to be?
Relax.
She doesn't have Alice. I said, she doesn't have Alice from and I haven't seen it yet.
Well, what's funny is I think if you're watching it, the guys will sit there and they won't, I didn't notice the house.
Exactly.
I just went all right, that looks like a house. Okay, whatever. And then, women will go oh, my God, they've got so much clutter around. Well, you know what? They don't seem like the type of family to have nannies and, cleaning people. It's as Bob said, I don't know if these women that you talk to remember having toddlers, but when you have a 4-year-old.
Well, their kids, what's funny
you
is
can clean up and it's dirty in about 2 minutes.
You bring that up. All of their kids are older, out of the house older.
I can tell you
and
from
they're
experience.
man, that house is just.
Jack's room will be clean for about 3 minutes, and then he gets in there, and next thing you know, it looks like Oppenheimer took over.
Yeah.
It's insane.
One of my favorite shows is Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I used to love watching that, and now it's on reruns all the time, and I'm back into watching it too. But one of the greatest things I loved about that show, because they were kind of in the same area of life that we were at the same time, where they were having young kids, they had 3, we had 4, whatever, was that if you look, their house just always looked like a normal lived-in house with kids running around. I mean, I never gave a crap when people came over and I had small kids and Donna said, we got to clean up the house and all that stuff. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'll get to it if I can. I'm busy, we're both busy changing diapers and feeding kids and doing this and that.
And you had 4.
If people can't accept it, yeah. It's funny. A friend of mine texted me yesterday from my old neighborhood, and he just had his first couple of grandchildren, and he sends me a picture of the kids, and one of the kids who's 5 months old, there's one boy from one daughter, another boy from another daughter. The 5-month-old boy sends me a picture of, it has Big Brother on it. And I go to Don, I go, oh my God.
Oh no.
And she says, how old is he? I said, 5 months. She goes,
my gosh.
That's what we were when we had our second one. Bobby, our oldest,
did the
was
Irish
5.
twins.
Yeah, so I was laughing. But that's just cool. I respect the Kelseys more because of that, if they're more like us.
They said it looked to me, I said, I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on it. But I was like, they don't have Alice from the Brady Bunch.
Guys, I'm telling you, when you watch this doc, your initial reaction is going to come away. And it'll be loving Jason Kelsey, but you're going to love his wife way more because she gets it.
They all said.
I mean, she's from here.
They all said how, first of all, they kept raving about how gorgeous she is. She is beautiful. Naturally beautiful woman. They said she's hanging out around her house and she's great looking.
I said the same thing to somebody. I was like, she's not done up.
Right.
She's wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt and she looks gorgeous.
And she looks like a normal, they said she looks like a normal woman that goes about her day and she's beautiful.
Yeah, she's
That's great.
She's
good for her.
She seems super down to earth, super cool. somebody you could probably grab a beer with. And, I'm
they
sure
live in
Jason
Delco,
has.
which is even better, right?
I believe
They do. They live in
I
Delco.
mean, I'll try to find their address if you
No,
want to
don't do that. They live in Delco.
They're not Jersey?
Delco's good.
No, they're not
Delco.
Jersey people because she's from Philly.
They're Delco. They're not from Jersey. They're from Philly. By the way, I was watching an old South Park the other night where they were bullying Stan because they found out his mom's from Jersey. And they're like, "You're from Jersey. Yeah, we know now. You're a Jersey person."
It's just not my favorite state.
All over them. Hey, CSB Media Arts Center in Cherry Hill is home to Connecticut School of Broadcasting's broadcast media program and more. Find out more at gocsb.com.
Real quick.
Yes.
We have a happy birthday. No, it's not breaking news.
Another
It's a
happy birthday?
Yeah, it's a happy birthday to announce. Look, this guy, I have a love-hate relationship with him. He's
love to hate him?
He's kind of like Jason Kelsey's wife, Kylie, where he's super cool to hang out with and have a beer with. The problem is he doesn't really sell much, but it's Joe Z's birthday.
It's Joe Z's birthday today.
So happy birthday.
Sweet.
He's like probably 65 at this point. Really good guy.
Dave Dombrowski look-alike.
Not great at his job, but somebody you just kind of want to keep around, and he's good in the room.
Does it mean like he's like you don't care if he's got the 198 batting average?
No, not really. Because he's a Garrett Stubbs type. You know, he's probably back there right now staring at a computer screen. It's just the home screen.
Squinting.
Yeah, it's just a home screen. He hasn't moved his mouse in probably 45 minutes. He's got a bag full of almonds and bad intentions.
He's got something in his ear, and he's acting like he's talking to somebody. There's nobody there.
No, nobody there.
There's nobody listening to what he has to say.
Congrats, Joe.
Salespeople, it's like you can either have the really good salesperson, but you probably don't want to hang out with them, or the salesperson that's not really good at their job, but you definitely want to grab a beer with. Joe Z's the latter. So happy birthday. Live it up,
Happy
Joey.
birthday, Joe.
Love you.
He's
we
the
love
best.
you. Hey, Chris in Havertown, quickly, I want to get you on. How are you, buddy?
What's up, brother?
Hi, Chris.
Hey, so as a Havertown cat, Kelsey lives in Havertown, brother.
I knew he was a Delco. He's Delco, baby. He's Delco. Just glad we were able to clarify that. He's proud to be Delco, too, which is great. So, hey, let's get it now. Game 2 tonight. I'll write them down. Who can get the closest? Final score and star of the game.
I'm going to go 7-3 Phillies, and I'm going to go Trey Turner.
And you're going Trey. By the way, you called Trey yesterday.
Yeah, good call, Bobby.
And you had it right. He comes out in the first inning.
He was dead wrong about Christian Pache, but
that's all right. We'll still.
What's up, Bobby?
I'm not dead wrong. I said he was a 173 career
Bobby,
hitter.
you crapped all over him. And he comes up with a big hit. He let him drag yesterday. Give the man some props.
I tip my hat to him today.
This is like how Andy can't call Reed Blankenship Ed Reed Blankenship.
Why are you getting upset about it? If I was wrong with something, I should be upset. I'm not upset. I feel good.
All right,
I'm happy for
what's
Christian.
What's your score, Pat, so we don't run out of time?
Yeah, I know. We got it. This is the problem. I'll deal with you after the show. I will go with 8-4 Phils. I think
8-4.
Yeah,
wow.
I think the big guy in the game is going to be Bryce Harper.
I said 3 before the series began, but I'm going to say Phillies tonight 5-4.
Ooh.
I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be nail biting, and I think it's not going to be fun. And your Pat, your guy was again. I'm sorry,
Bryce.
You go with Bryce.
Harper.
Yeah, my wife's favorite. I am going to go. The Phillies win tonight, and I am going to say Bryson Stott comes through and is the big star of the game. Phillies 5-4 tonight. Wouldn't that be fun? If tomorrow we have a celebration on Thursday morning where we've got Game Time and we've got Ricky Bowe coming in and we're talking about previewing the NLDS. This Marlins team scrappy, but if we get your 8 and Bob, if we get your 7, I don't believe the Marlins have a shot. The Phillies aren't losing 9-8. The Phillies aren't losing 7-6. I really would believe.
No, they close it out tonight. It's over.
Should be a fun night. Everybody who brought the noise last night at Citizens Bank Park, mad respect for you, is what I would say. That was absolutely awesome. What a great atmosphere. And I know Andrew Salchunas was banging off the walls yesterday, and he's going to be doing it again today, I'm sure.
Yeah, you will.
Counting down to 8:08 tonight. So, hey, support life-saving cancer research. Join me and our generous partner, H&H Heating and Air Conditioning. My buddies, the Hoke brothers, at DelcoHVAC.com. And make a donation today to the American Association for Cancer Research. 97.5thefanatic.com/AACR, because cancer research saves lives. I'm counting on that. Treatment 9 begins today. I got 44 days left. I'm powering through, just like the Phillies are going to power through the fish tonight We'll look forward to talking with you tomorrow, plus more on the Birds and the Rams. Have a great day, everybody. Stay around. Andrew Salchunas is coming your way next. Hey, get the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app, too.